And so that's it.
Worked a treat.
Another week.
Ramble
4.
Number 4. Here we go.
We've done
Evening
more.
all.
This is it. So we've got a couple of tweaks that we've added in. So hello everybody. This is the FIFA Ramble 4 from Calhoun Review. I'm Wormatron.
I'm Luke.
I'm Alexi.
And we're going to do the usual nonsense. You should notice a few changes this week from last. We're hoping that every week we'll kind of get a bit of an update, a bit of a change, try and show a bit of progression. But this week, the first thing that we actually want to do is encourage people to move from Facebook. If you're already watching Facebook Live, we would really, really like you to move over to the YouTube channel. And this is, I won't bore you with the technicalities, but move over because
Don't watch on there.
There's no FIFA happening on there.
I'm sending the link through now.
And we were chatting last week and the week before, nonsense, and there was no FIFA to be seen. Where if you watch on YouTube, you can actually watch the FIFA and judge us. So we're just going to do the usual professional faffing. We spent ages trying to get it to work, but for whatever reason, Facebook, well, not for whatever reason, Facebook have tied it down so you can't stream to Facebook and YouTube at the same time.
No, we did really want to try and get the FIFA on there because last week, John, he will be watching soon, I hope, he commented, is Luke still as shit at FIFA as he was before? And the answer was yes.
See for yourself.
But if he'd been watching on YouTube, he could have seen how shit I still tragically am.
And now we're doing that wonderful 2-camera setup where we're talking in there.
That's just to get people to this thing.
Ignoring that. So come over.
Join us.
I am inviting a load of people into the link now. And then I'm going to tweet a link out.
That's alright, because we'll keep talking.
We'll just keep talking.
We can keep talking on here.
We've got a ridiculous amount to get through today.
We have got an awful lot to get through.
If last week's anything to go by, we won't touch most of it. We won't get. Oh look! Oh, they're coming in. Gainer's in. I'm
That's not ironic.
No, it's not. My mother-in-law's just joined. I'm So yeah, the whole point is, like I said, we need you to go onto the YouTube link, which I mean you've joined sooner than I expected you to. To be fair.
Oh.
Right, let me.
I'm assuming that I've still got complete
now,
editorial freedom to say what I want.
You have as much as you want.
Gain now, both barrels.
There you go. That's the link there. So you're watching. Click that link. That's the link you need to be on, because then you'll be able to still listen to us talk absolute drivel.
Shit, we are FIFA.
But you'll also be able to watch us play FIFA. So you get the best of both worlds, or the worst, whichever way.
BOBW.
Whichever way you want to do it. Now I'm going to send some more invites. A minute.
For those of you that are wondering, this is a jasmine infused green tea.
It is
that we're drinking. It is a lovely brew from thingy of Harrogate, whatever. It's lovely. It's a lovely drop.
It's a lovely drop.
Do you like a green
Gardeners.
tea?
Lovely drop.
What we need to, we should really just get started properly.
Let's crack on in then. We'll explain our first FIFA game.
Is that what we're doing?
That's what we're doing. Liverpool Leipzig.
Alright, so we're going to start with Liverpool Leipzig. But go on, don't just entertain us. Actually click on the YouTube link and just go over. I don't beg. Seldom. Ever.
Right, hang on, there's my actual mum. Mum, there's a link above you, love. It says there, YouTube 1. Click on that. Stop watching on there. Click that link. Go on, and we can see when you do. So make sure you do. Right, sorry. Carry on. It's
the wonderful world where you get to a certain age, and then you start telling your mum off.
Bradley's joined.
Oh, bloody Bradley.
Price.
Here he is.
Hi, mate.
Uh-oh.
Jump on the YouTube, mate.
Watch out.
Touch the...
Pop on the YouTube.
There's a YouTube link. We're just going to keep doing this and harassing you.
Pop on there.
Say again. Right, Mum, there's a YouTube link. Click that.
Right, we can't spend too much time on this.
I reckon I want to do the whole... I want to do all of this.
I want to do a 2-hour podcast of us telling people to go watch us on YouTube.
And nobody watching us on YouTube. which is fine.
Like, none of you are clicking the link.
Send it through.
We got live analytics. Don't bullshit us.
Yeah, we can see when you do. Can you click the link? I'm going to send it to you again.
Can you spam your own channel? Is that essentially what's happened?
No, well, I'm spamming my friends list on
It's
Facebook
spamming.
right now. Everyone's getting an invite.
Nobody wants to watch this nonsense. I'm going to lean in a minute and just do a bit of a thing here.
It's that time of the week.
Right, so we were talking Liverpool leaps. John, click the YouTube link, son.
John, get on the YouTube link.
Why are you pointing at people
I
as if
don't
they
know.
never?
I'm doing my I do what my nan would do.
do.
John, I can see you. John, say a comment, something. Click the Bradley, come on, this is entertaining. What are you talking about, son?
Crack up.
Click the YouTube
Entertainment.
link.
I'll tell you where entertainment lives.
The entertainment starts.
It's on the YouTubes.
The entertainment starts
YouTube.
when you start
It's
clicking
on-
the link.
It's on the YouTubes.
I don't think they've got any idea how belligerent I am. have
Yeah,
they?
we will. If you click the link, and then you can watch us. You can watch us. You're not there, Mum. You're lying to me. Louis Belston. Click the YouTube link, son. Scroll up. I'm still
Right.
pointing at these people.
Hang on, somebody's just bloody joined.
That's my mum.
Yes.
Yes.
As good as her
Yes,
word.
mum.
No one.
Do we need to send the link again?
Mama ain't no
I
liar.
am. I've just invited so many people.
Right, can we just play some FIFA now?
Right.
I'd
And
like
talk
that.
football.
Click.
Because at the moment, the Calhoun Reviews green tea drinking podcast isn't going particularly well, is
Well,
it?
enjoying it.
it's another avenue that we might be potentially going down.
It's a lovely drop.
There you go. I've sent the link again. It's about to pop up. There you go.
Click on the link.
We're going to keep doing it.
Click on that link.
We are just going to keep doing it. So
Keep clinking.
that
Right.
is click
Going
on the
live
link.
again.
That is. No, we're still live.
Still live, still clinking.
Right. Hang on. Let me just get involved. Please go click that link
Click on the link.
and come
Click on the
watch
bloody
us.
Link, will you?
Just click on the link.
Clink.
I really don't want to keep telling you. Click on the link and watch us on YouTube, and then you can watch us play. Right, are we ready?
Well,
Instead of
yes.
just looking at us.
we've been ready. It's the bloody audience. It's incredible.
It's the audience. You
No
can't-
wonder Benedict Cumberbatch had a right earful for people when they went to see him at the Globe. No
This
bloody
is-
respect.
It's exactly reasons like this why Helen Mirren kicks off at people.
In
That's-
many ways.
This is what it is.
Which of us would be Helen Mirren? God, that's more difficult to say than a sober man.
Helen Mirren, normal. Helen Mirren when she's nice, sort of friendly actress.
Yeah, that's you.
No, I'm not Lexi. Helen Mirren when she's yelling at people in the audience. You.
I mean, that was fairly obvious.
We've got.
So what are you? You're at home, Helen Mirren, are you?
I'm at home chilling.
You're gardening.
Gardening,
You're-
Helen Mirren.
You are the filler piece in the Observer magazine,
We are.
aren't you?
That's
You're
what
the
I am.
weekend profile. The woman behind the actress, Helen Mirren.
I am.
What we haven't got is time to diverge. Sorry.
Let's
from,
get straight into the beast.
right. Okay,
Let-
so
um,
last week we tried to talk about stuff as we were playing the games, and that went horribly wrong. But we're gonna keep giving it a go and see how it goes. So we're actually going to start talking about the midfield here. Are you going to play or
I am. 2 seconds. Sorry.
2 seconds.
2 seconds?
Just doing
We've
some
heard
more
it before.
social media in.
2 bloody seconds.
You are fully aware of why. That's why we've got 3 people. We've already lost somebody.
There you
from,
go.
From YouTube.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry. Right.
Click
Who
the
we
link.
lost?
Click the bloody link.
My wife is here. She says, take your shirts off. Nick, babe, click the link, love. Click the link. YouTube.
Nikki, you haven't seen me for a while. If I took my top off, it would literally be like stripping the red skin off a polony. It is pretty disgusting.
Would you be like Lord Yorith in Game of Thrones?
Don't talk to me about that. Tits
Alright,
and
right,
dragons.
let's talk. Let's
Fuck
talk.
me.
Tits and
That's
dragons.
the
Let's talk
To Kill-
Liverpool.
That's the To Kill a Mockingbird of fucking television programmes.
Talking about
that is.
tits and dragons. Keita.
So yeah, the reason we're playing this game is
That's
for Naby Keita,
Naby Keita.
a guy that I have loved for quite a while. Based again from the guy we mention every week, Ted Knutson.
Ted Knutson.
From StatsBomb. He's on he's on all the Twitters, etc. So go and find him. He's an incredible guy that used to do a load of analytics and background stuff for Brentford and others.
There should be a new stats bomb coming soon.
And there will be a new stats
I did
bomb.
look the other day actually.
Since that transfer one I said.
That's the last one, isn't it? The one that you sent me.
And
that
so
was
he,
really good.
he loves
It
Naby
was
Keita,
amazing.
and he's been talking about him for ages. And so finally, it turns out that hang on a minute, that is unusual.
I can't believe I just got the first goal. That
You're
never
Liverpool.
happens. I'm Liverpool.
I'm not going.
That's
You know damn well I'm not going to Liverpool. And so
invite people on Facebook.
And so Naby Keita is rumoured to be moving to Liverpool. It's understood that they put in 2 fairly chunky bids.
Yeah.
And it's rumoured that the third bid will go in for 75 million euros or pounds or whatever. But as we say every week, and we will continue to say until this god-awful transfer window's over, this isn't the place to come and care about money. Like
No.
it's literally a scoring game for fans. I'm not interested in cash. Not even as a comparative metric, because you can't compare two together. But he is a hell of a footballer, and I suppose the thing that's probably most interesting to talk about right now is, so Liverpool have been in a spot of bother over tapping up, in inverted commas, Virgil van Dijk, and who was the other one?
It's just Van Dijk, wasn't it?
There was somebody else that they got in trouble for, but anyway, they've been warned off
I don't know
Naby
who it was, but he
Keita,
definitely played for
as well.
Southampton, chances.
but he's reported to have his head turned, and he's not satisfied and he wants to transfer, which is fine. It happens regularly. You know, people go on strike. Cesc Fabregas did it at Arsenal. Virgil van Dijk is presently training alone at Southampton.
All on his own.
But Keita appeared to have taken a new approach, and his midfield partner from last season, a guy who he played incredibly well with, Deme or Dem, depending on how you choose to pronounce it. They were absolutely solid in the midfield. So pre-season started last week, and in training, Naby Keita,
It's a great story.
apparently, and I haven't seen the actual footage of it, but he just gets squares 2-foot tackles, Deme, so badly that medical staff have to come in, etc., and training is cancelled.
Training's called right off. But apparently it was a revenge tackle as well, though. So, but
Big fan of that.
you'd imagine that would have been one hell of a tackle to prompt that, because it was everything was called off.
Like that, he sent everybody home, and I suppose that's fear of retribution, etc. But
I think I got it.
it's an interesting story.
Oh.
Have you got the actual tackle?
What was that?
Oh, there's nothing wrong with that. So that was the
hang on,
first
is that
tackle.
the first one?
That's the first tackle. So that was Dem on Keita. I hope it is nasty. Is it immediately afterwards? So he's brooding.
He's not happy. We can post this link up in a minute so you can watch it as well.
5'5", Naby Keita.
Is that it?
Yes,
Oh,
that is.
that is it.
Okay, we'll post that now.
Well, to be fair, you reap what you sow.
When people get invited in.
We're going to post that, and then we're going to tell people to go again to the YouTube channel.
YouTube channel. So if you are watching on YouTube, if you do want to see the horror tackle that prompted them to call off training the other day, that will be on our Facebook.
It's a greasy
stream.
pitch as well.
It's in the wet. We'll post all the links in the description for the next.
We can post links down once the video goes live as well. We'll post the links down below the video on YouTube that you can then go and like, and please subscribe to us if you haven't already, and all that good stuff.
Right, I'm going to post that horror tackle right now.
Do it. So do we think that Naby will end up at Liverpool?
Yes.
Do you? That's interesting.
I think it's inevitable. Especially, also, did you see the comments last night that their president made? I think it was their president. Again, I mean, it's not really something... I'm not sure that he meant it in the way that it's been taken.
Okay.
If I'm being... I don't think he meant... I mean, it's obviously a ridiculous thing to say. I can't remember the exact wording of it, but he essentially said that his whole entourage was from a village in Guinea, was it? I believe.
Well, no, that it was basically everyone from Guinea, essentially, wasn't it? That you say, oh, well, that's a sucker punch. So
basically, his whole entourage is right. If you've just joined, go click the link. If you scroll up, there's a YouTube link. Click that, and you can watch us play FIFA at the same time. So you can have best of both worlds. But yeah, he said, essentially, it was that one. It was the whole. A village in Guinea is his entourage, or the equivalent, which that's just a ridiculous thing to say.
Well, it's not acceptable, is it?
No. But I think it was it was stupid, but I'm not entirely certain he's meant it in the same way that it's come off. You know, when you sometimes say things and you go, oh.
No, I've never done that. I've never said anything.
Oh, not that. Yeah.
No, what I mean is, I'm joking. I suppose the point to make there, though, is that a man of his position, at that level of seniority in an incredibly high-profile role, don't say things that you've got to row back from.
No, I mean, it's a ridiculous thing.
There's a reason why I haven't got a real job, and it's because I don't think before I speak. You know, cut your cloth accordingly.
I couldn't believe it when I saw the comments. I was just like, how? But all of this added in, I do think it's inevitable now that he's gone.
Who does he replace at Liverpool?
Oh, well,
you walk straight into the starting lineup, obviously, for that sum of money.
Yeah, because initially you would think, I thought, right, Lucas, but obviously the sum of money, you're right, you don't pay that much money to replace.
But Lucas is gone.
He has gone, but he was more of a squad player, fringe player anyway, wasn't he? So he's not like they're going to pay 45 million to replace someone who sat on their bench.
Well, that is an absolute clusterfuck.
Maybe I can't think who he will replace. Maybe Emery Can.
You will.
Because he's going to Juve. There's rumours that he's in talks with Juve, isn't it?
I haven't heard that.
Yeah, Juve apparently.
I didn't hear that.
I'm sure it was Juve. Oh, we got another YouTube.
That'd be interesting if that was the case, because that would be
can
the.
You check that out.
That would be the Sammy Khedira
right, because I'm sure Emery Chan. Is it Chan? It is Chan, isn't it?
Emery Chan. Yeah.
Apparently, Liverpool want him. Juventus want him. That's what I've heard.
Okay, let's have a look.
On Luke's grapevine, you plugged into the Matrix.
Hey, don't name these at all Birmingham players again, alright? It bloody worked last time. But yeah, no.
5 million pursuit.
Is it
6 hours ago?
Is it Juve?
Yeah.
Have I got? Yeah.
So that is the
but then
Sammy Khedira.
Accepting defeat over. It seems really uncertain at the moment.
So maybe, but also, I mean, if Juve want him, there's also the element of what we talked with Liverpool. There's others stories to come out from in Liverpool.
So
the Coutinho one. That then opens up. Yeah, Lazar.
Do we all rate Lazar here, right? In terms of potential and not following through.
Yeah, I think he's a good footballer. And you just forgot he existed.
I just not even exist. He pretty much forgot he existed. If you watched our Periscope on the way over here, I did just sort of forget that he existed. But mainly, I forgot that he was still at Liverpool. I forgot he was on the books in the same way that I forgot Danny Ings was on the books at Liverpool. Not necessarily. I knew they were still human beings. I just didn't know that they were still at Liverpool. I assumed they'd been sold. I just didn't know that he'd been out on loan this entire time.
Yeah. Where did he go? Sporting and Hull?
I don't know what this first one was. He was definitely at Hull, and I don't believe he did anything really.
I think he came on the second half against Arsenal and did 15 minutes of damage, but that's fairly standard.
But how old is he now?
25, I reckon.
So,
the oldest.
Right,
the eldest, he's 25.
Potential.
Maybe 23? How old's Lazar?
Oh, Lazar. Okay.
So potential then, are we into the Theo Walcott world of potential, you know?
Well, we'll get onto that in a bit if you want.
We
go
could.
Into
Emil Forsberg is another worm crush. Plenty of those.
But there's, do you know what I mean? It's a certain age where you've got to stop saying that the people have got potential.
Tina Turner.
23.
Women of a certain age.
Is he only 23?
23.
23.
I know people play premiums for that sort of age range, and like Coutinho's 25 for Christ's sake.
He's done. To be fair though,
He's
Coutinho has done a little bit
25.
more than.
He's done a wee bit more, yeah.
He's done a wee bit more. Yeah. So Liverpool's an interesting one. It's I just really don't like them. So I don't want to talk about them particularly.
Yeah, no. Someone said something interesting to me this week in that they said that Liverpool's transfer window is worse than Tottenham's, and I was like, well, Tottenham haven't really had the transfer window, and he was like, no, because they've signed players. Liverpool have signed players who they didn't necessarily need in the positions, and I was like, okay.
It's the Klopp pull though, isn't it?
Yeah, there is
like,
that.
who would you prefer, like Klopp or Pulis?
But his whole this guy who was talking to me, his whole argument was what Tottenham have done is managed to get a lot of money for a player that was on their bench, whereas Liverpool have bought a lot of players who could potentially be on there. You know, could be. He worded it in that they could have bought a lot of foreigners.
I think.
Like, well, I kind of see what you mean.
Yeah, like they've done that before, haven't they? Like Spurs.
Yeah.
They've done that.
So who have Liverpool signed?
Salah.
Salah is ridiculous. So he's not.
And
going
that
on the
seems
bench.
like a cheap steal. That
let's be perfectly clear with that.
But what he's saying is that already, when you look at front, like attacking midfielder wise, they're very top heavy. Midfield, they are top heavy. That's not to say that any of them aren't good, and that Salah, because Salah's obviously a fantastic footballer.
Wonderful.
However, did they actually need someone in that position?
Mane.
They got Firmino. They got Coutinho. Oh, why did I do that? Coutinho. Who else they got? No, I'm missing people. Lazar.
Well, they got Lallana, haven't they? But then different kind of player. Adam Lallana is a very different kind of player than.
He's more essential
than Mo Salah. They have got bundles of energy. They have got bundles of energy going forward. They're gonna break quite quickly at times.
They're very lethal up front now. They've got if Sturridge can stay fit, but
we know he can't.
That's definitely not going to happen.
Pull me in. No, it's not going to happen. Couldn't they, his argument, I think, is wouldn't they have been better off signing an out-and-out centre forward?
No, because
they don't. Works in that system.
People
that say that without being rude probably haven't seen many Jurgen Klopp teams, and I don't mean, like.
You don't want to be rude.
No.
I mean, I constantly am. I don't wish to be, but that's because people are idiots. Not the people that are here, obviously, and certainly not your mother and your mother-in-law.
But certainly not. I mean, I appreciate that.
But
essentially,
most of the others, and not your beautiful wife.
Yeah, what he's saying is, if you stop being stupid, he'll stop being rude.
That's what I'm saying.
Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
Who's going to score more, Firmino, Mane, or Salah?
Mane.
Yeah, I was going to go Mane.
Fair enough.
I was going to say Mane, but I
don't know why.
Yeah.
Based on an awful lot.
Sorry to interrupt, but your regulars in. Andrew, did you click the Facebook, the YouTube link, mate?
Well, keep pointing. Andrew, YouTube, mate, link it. Link.
Are you going to say that in full sentence now, or are you just going to go with whatever you just did?
Just Andrew, link.
Get across.
Go on the YouTube, apparently.
Get on the YouTube.
I think Mane will score more if we're going those three, and I do think that Salah will score the least.
What, first season, just bedding him in?
I think also if they're going to go with Firmino up front, and Salah then out wide, and Coutinho's, you're imagining, gone. I think he is gone at this point.
I think he's probably.
I don't know. This is where we'll. I mean, do you want to talk about that now? Because we've still got a little bit left in the game, and I don't really want to talk about it later.
Briefly touch on James Milner, and will he get in the side this season, or will they look to buy an out-and-out fullback?
They're gonna use him and utilise him. He's too important to the structure of that team, like on the field and off. I think.
Is he now going to be a?
You've got him for influence.
Is he now a 16-game sort of player though, rather than a full season sort of player?
No, I think he might well be.
I think
he might be a Schmelzer.
That's
kind of.
That's why he went there in the first place to play. That's it.
Schmelzer is. He does remind me, and that's not And I don't really like James Milner that much, and I really
He's
do
integral
like
to that team,
Schmelzer.
though, isn't he?
But yeah, is that role?
Oh.
As part of that, I've scored really shit goals just to win out of spite. I never scored those goals, but I've done it just because I didn't want to lose to Liverpool, because I fucking hate them.
What's happened?
Presumably an injury? Yes.
No.
Oh, what we haven't spoken about this whole time, and this was actually something I wanted to talk about the other week that we didn't get around to, was the increased number, which I think is a really nice thing, the increased number of young Brits that have gone to play abroad.
Oh, you did mention
you've got Oliver Burke, I put in right-sided midfield, right-sided 3, who doesn't get an awful lot of game time. Can you see how many games are you able to, Skin? Have a little look and see how many games Oliver Burke played last season. I'm going to say about like the 18 mark in total. I think he was injured for a small while, but he's an excellent talent, so I think that's lovely.
Some of the Wilshire won't do, is it?
Well, we'll get on to that in a bit, maybe. So yeah, Coutinho, for me, he's not going. He's not going. I think it is all. It's all bluster.
You say this, but what has?
I do say that.
But what has?
Livid.
What? What has Guillaume
Ballbag?
Yeah, because whatever he says, that's where my opinion leads. Really, if he says he's staying, then he's gone.
Yeah,
because this is also, like we've said in previous weeks, this is the man who said Falcao was joining United, and then 3 seasons later Falcao actually did join United, and he claimed that as a victory.
I would though.
Yeah,
I definitely would.
We all would, but we also.
18?
20.
20, bang on.
Is it really?
He's played 25 games
in all comps, yeah?
Yeah, and scored 1. But that was like 1 season he's played 25
That's
games.
the first ever time that I haven't lost to you.
Oh, is that complete?
And you did it with Liverpool, that's really annoying.
4-4.
Is that the last?
If you're watching on
time?
If you're watching on Facebook,
go to the link.
If you're watching on Facebook, that was 4-4.
Pop over to the link.
That was a good game. And
if you're watching on Facebook, you're missing all the good stuff.
Get over to the link.
Just get him the link.
I've designed graphics and all sorts.
He's got
lazy
graphics
fuckers.
going on here.
put
Andrew's
the work
commented. Oh no, he shared the video. You're a good lad. Darren.
Why are you shouting?
I don't know. I'm turning to my nan. Trying to address him. Right.
Look at the stats. You can't look at the stats. If you bothered to go onto YouTube, you'd see the stats.
He had 15 shots, 8 on target. I had 6 shots, 6 on target. So that's 100% on target.
I don't want to be this man, but I am that man.
Right.
Next game.
You can play him. I'm not interested. I'm done. You play Real Monaco, because I don't want to play that. Yeah.
Right. Where were we talking?
So, well, we wanted to finish up on Coutinho. He's not going. Coutinho's not going.
Can we open this up to Facebook at this point and YouTube? Do you think Coutinho will join Barcelona this summer? Darren, I see you there. Andrew, I know you're there.
Glad you know you're there.
What do you mean I'm rubbish? Andrew said I'm rubbish at FIFA. That was 4-4.
Yeah, I was Leipzig with a 70 rated centre midfielder. Shift over.
Oh yeah.
Hang on. Yeah. When am I moving?
No, you stay still.
Stay in there, sunshine.
You're Rory Calhoun. This is a terrifying view now for people on Facebook. The stubborn bastards on Facebook have got to put up with me being large. Perspective is not... Well, perspective is a cruel mistress. She's being horrible to me.
But I do... Who am I going? Sorry, what game are we playing?
You are
rubbish.
in Monaco.
Okay.
Monaco.
So is that we don't think... Oh, you're going to have to go...
Oh, yeah, I'll go.
Right, so Coutinho's not going, and we'll just touch on this quickly so we can keep going. No, because he's not good enough. He is... The thing that people forget about Barcelona for me is that they not only sign good players that are pretty and are beautiful footballers, these people are also statistically devastating. So Neymar, if people haven't seen a lot of Neymar other than the clips and what have you, Neymar is not just a name. The man is disgusting at football. His output for the national team is absolutely ridiculous. What he did when he was younger in getting 200 goals for Santos, and that's fucking nonsense, is absolutely ridiculous. Suarez has just gone and scored absurd goals. Lionel Messi, for me, is the greatest player that I've ever seen play. Look at the players that don't get in that team. Players like Arda Turan, etc. For me, Coutinho is that standard.
Yeah.
I think he looks like a beautiful footballer and he does some nice things, but his stats and his figures just don't back it up. And I know that he'll get a lift by playing in a better team, etc., and bullying people, but I just don't see Barcelona needing him. And I also wonder whether it's just a way to be fishing out and just saying to Neymar, well, you know, there are people that we could pick up, but I just don't see him being there. I really just don't see him.
Another Brazilian.
Being
another one by five
good.
Yeah.
Hope he goes. Hang on, Darren is just.
Darren said.
Coutinho, was he that good last season? No, he wasn't that good. He wasn't good enough to play for Barcelona. He wasn't good enough to play for Liverpool for a lot of it last season, and injured. Hope he goes, so Liverpool fans have a reason why they don't win the league this season.
He's a good lad as well, Darren.
Excellent. I can get on board with any man who doesn't.
Darren as well. I'm still pointing. I got to stop fucking pointing. Darren is on Twitter at Peter Amore. Pateramore. He's very, very good follow. Non-partisan Chelsea fan who will just talk to you normally, which is nice.
Without racially abusing me.
Oh, you went there.
I did.
With
Darren, do you remember when you literally had a car park at the end of your football stadium behind the goals? That was fucking weird. As a kid, that was one of the weirdest. That's one of the weird memories about. And this isn't slagging off Chelsea for having money and being really good. I can do that separately, but having a car park at the end of your stadium while you were building stuff, bonkers.
Right, we've moved. Like now, Darren. As much as we're liking the enjoyment, mate, if you click on the YouTube link, you can see the game of football, FIFA even. I really am my nan today. That we've just started. Which
how is your nan?
She's alright, bless her heart. I've gone Monaco, and Alexi is Real.
Yeah.
Why have we gone these two?
I'm quickly running down my list. Well,
Monaco.
It's Kylian Mbappe.
Yeah.
That's the leg.
We're not going to do it every week.
How much?
We're not going to do it every week.
How much do you want for him?
Right. So, what's really interesting is, well, it's not interesting, but that is apparently something that I've realised that I say quite a lot. So, Kylian Mbappe, will he or will he not go to Real Madrid? I don't really care at this point. Transfers don't interest me, as I'll say over and over again. And as we've just said earlier, the fee doesn't interest me either.
No,
but
it's irrelevant.
I saw on Twitter,
absolutely irrelevant.
Somebody put something really nice on Twitter earlier this week about it. That they said £100 million, 180 million euros, sorry, for Kylian Mbappe. And I said, with that money, you could buy the Millennium Stadium. It costs that is less than the Millennium Stadium cost to build, and the Millennium Stadium wins because Mbappe isn't in the middle of a city centre and isn't surrounded by loads of pubs.
Yeah, it's true.
Which I thought was quite nice.
I do like the idea that Real Madrid can go, who should we sign, Mbappe, or should we just buy the Millennium Stadium?
So Real Madrid, for less money, could have bought the stadium within which they won their most recent Champions League.
Less money
than they could for an 18-year-old centre forward who has had one season.
That is, like we say, we don't really care about the fee because it is irrelevant. I couldn't care less how much players are signed for. I don't care. But yeah, that is a lovely stat.
What we got? The car park version of the bridge is still better than Loftus Road. Well, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. Well, there's no disagreement there.
No, there's not.
It definitely is better than Loftus Road. That was when he first started going, pretending that he used to go. There's embarrassing.
He lives in London.
I lived in London. Oh.
But he's actually not a Chelsea fan that only knew that Chelsea existed when Abramovich came in. He's actually like a lifelong Chelsea fan who lives there. He's like a proper Chelsea fan as well.
Here we go. So Messi's great, but he never scored in the 5 live games that he saw him.
Yeah.
Now I'm assuming, and this must be typing, he's written Young, Giggs and Ronaldinho. Now I'm hoping that he hasn't missed a comma there and he's trying to tell me that Ashley Young is one of the greatest players he's ever seen. What I'm assuming is he means young Ryan Giggs and Ronaldinho were the best I've seen live, which, yeah, to be fair. Darren Wood, then Steve Clark. First
This is
favourite
now
players.
just turned into.
God, this is amazing.
This was the podcast that we were going to push everyone into watching on YouTube, and it's basically turned into you and Darren having a conversation about
Darren on the
Chelsea.
chat. That's nice.
Yeah, on the chat. It's nice.
I like it.
Right.
Well, if you did anything of note, we could talk about that.
Lima.
Yeah.
Right. So let's move on, because and back to Real Madrid. Like, don't give two hoots. You either will go or you won't. And
Can we just make it
literally
clear
how
as
works.
well? Just before we move on, I just want to make it clear because every week I do ask for suggestions on Twitter, and we push and we get questions. I can safely say this will be the last time that we discuss Mbappe to Real Madrid.
Until next time.
Because we did Neymar to PSG last time, it's still going on, but
15 days
It's
to saying
done.
they'll wrap that up.
Jane Smalley's piping up.
yeah, what's she saying?
Your nan says she hopes you don't swear.
No fucking jack of that, is it? It's already
That
gone.
was too obvious. That was too obvious. That is too obvious. So we're talking about Lamar now.
Lamar,
And what are we saying about him? Is he going to go? Is he not? Are we just going to do that again?
Pull your finger out,
Right.
Arsene.
Is he going to go?
Is
Well,
it just Arsenal he's being linked to?
right. Yes, it is. I believe. So somebody wrote something quite interesting
Maybe.
this week about it, and it's slightly tilted. It's a slightly tilted view, but it's also quite interesting. And the point that they made was that Monaco, for all of the bluster and all of the people that they've sold, they came out with a statement early on, and they said that they're going to keep the players that they wish to keep.
Yeah.
And now that sounded like a lot of cheap talk when they sold a load of players. But this analysis that this person wrote, and they were a Monaco fan, suggested that actually everybody that they've sold is replaceable, either with a player that's younger in their squad, or with the absurd money that they've got, they can buy. And the point that they made were that the two players who were absolutely the best last season were Lamar and Mbappe,
Yeah.
and they're not going, which is quite interesting. The counterpoint to that is that, as has been proven with like Bakayoko, etc., is that a player isn't leaving until there's a load of money offered, and then they will go. But there is a young... So Bakayoko's gone, and there was, according to this guy, and I only saw Monaco play about, I don't know, 7... No, maybe more. I watched him quite a lot on BT Sport in the league. But they've got a young left-back who was a little bit injured last season. I can't remember his name. But this guy said, you know, it's not just wishful thinking, etc., but he is actually better than Bakayoko and stuff. So it'll be interesting.
So was he just kept out of the first team? Was it the suggestion he was kept out of the first team purely because of his injury?
A bit of youth, bit of injury. The fact that they got halfway through a season doing outrageous things, and then isn't necessarily the time that you bring these people in. Can I steal this so I can read without leaning in and giving people just giving people the eye?
Comment, you'll comment as me. But if you also,
I'm not commenting. I'm not going to write.
Well, if you just
I'm not writing. I'm not doing it. Don't make me do it. What are you doing?
Paste in the YouTube link and just send that.
Well, you can press that. I'm not posting on a YouTube link. Jay refuse.
Get on the YouTubes.
Yes, a young Giggsy and Goofy. Giggs ripped us open at the bridge. Always hated him. Beardsley was one of my favourite opposition. Peter Beardsley. We were talking the other week about Keith Gillespie.
We were.
And what have you, and the similarity of the way he ran to Ryan Giggs, which is lovely. But that Newcastle, that era of weird Newcastle as a kid, Peter Beardsley was fucking ridiculous.
That was the Newcastle Brown Ale era, wasn't it?
How good was Peter Beardsley?
He was very, very.
He's very good.
But he also kept. See, he was one of those players that just. He seemed older than he was, or he just played longer than I imagined him to be playing. Do you know what I mean? Like Ian Rush. Like I looked up Ian Rush on Wikipedia. I don't know why. I had a reason to the other, and I didn't realise how long he actually played for. You know, when you could.
Ian Rush played longer than his neck, which is not possible.
That is just. That's science, isn't it as well?
Well,
it's not possible to play longer than your neck.
It must be. If it's just Arsenal he's linked to, then he won't go. They'll only buy someone that plays for Milan University or something. Well, smart ass. There are three. There are 3 universities in Milan. So which one?
Do you reckon then that Mbappe will be a Real Madrid player?
Don't care. We've done it. You said we were going to not talk about that anymore.
No, I said after this week.
We're going back. We moved on to Lamar, not the Tottenham-based singer-songwriter.
The soon-to-be Arsenal-based footballer, you mean?
Apparently not, according to Darren. Beardsley for England. Millennials have no idea how good he was, or the joy of the 86 to 90 era. Yeah, that's a bit early for me. I was 4 in 86. So yeah, a bit young, but Beardsley, I do remember him. Everton, Liverpool, Newcastle. Probably played for a load of other clubs that I'd completely forgotten about.
I saw him at
Started at United.
Hartlepool. I saw him play for.
Was that him?
Against
Is that him and Mark Lawrenson?
Yeah.
Was that the end?
No, before Cardiff City. He played down Cardiff City for
Yeah,
Hartlepool.
but did Mark Lawrenson not play in that game as well?
No, it was just Beardsley when he.
So was that the
Pete Beardsley
in the centre of midfield, just still pulling strings. It was like
Oh,
seeing
okay.
like a Masters game type of thing.
Yeah, that's cool. So Lamar, he's staying probably. Whatever. Again, I don't care. Like, Arsenal football transfer rumours do nothing for me whatsoever. I'm one of those weirdos
I ran into it.
that just really likes football, but none of the narrative. Like, and I don't know whether we've said this on the Ramble before, etc. But I don't watch. I don't watch build up. I don't watch.
I'm getting rid of Bacca, he's injured.
Talking at half time. And I don't watch stuff at the end of the game. Not interested.
Monaco are fascinating though.
Mendy left back, not Bakayoko. That was me being a fool.
Considering how much they've got for 3 players already.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good business, that, isn't it? Hot
Excellent.
dollars.
That is really good. They've made an awful lot of money
That's
by
without
mugging
the
off
Mbappe.
Premier League clubs. So,
The Mbappe.
and that's without selling the Millennium Stadium.
I love the fact that Millennium Stadium is super.
Cheaper. Cheaper. The Millennium Stadium was cheaper. And that's the other thing they said. The Millennium Stadium's got a sliding roof. Which I thought was Mbappe ain't got a sliding roof. No. I mean, he might have a convertible car, but that's not the same.
That's Mbappe got a slide in.
That's Mbappe got a sliding roof.
That's probably a Twitter account that's already taken at this point.
Everything's taken.
Mbappe sliding roof.
I don't have Facebook.
Christopher Glasson, host of the Drunkcast.
Is it really?
Well, on the Drunkcast and host of Hardcore Listing.
The terrifying thing there is that those are probably 2 of the best podcasts that exist.
Yeah,
And this is a fucking shambles.
it is. But Chris Glasson is watching us in this shambles.
But this
And,
isn't. This
I was
isn't.
listening to him earlier on today.
But this isn't a shambles in like that really nice. Oh, actually, they know what they're doing, and they're so professional they can then make it look poor. It's not like Tommy Cooper, you know, like a routine so rehearsed that it can be made to look unrehearsed. This is just shit.
He's like, this is why we need to keep him on FIFA, because he's going to end up calling that
Just really
the
bummed me out,
podcast
mate.
shit, or calling everyone listening an idiot.
So we need to tell everybody, because apparently we're contracted to do this every 30 seconds, is if you're on Facebook and you have got YouTube, can you please go and watch us on
right
there? The link is somewhere in the
Link's
chat.
It's right there.
Just go and... Andrew Bredin likes the graphics on YouTube. Well,
Nice, thank you very
Whoa.
much.
there you go.
Well
Are you
done.
just reading that?
Go and... I am. I'm
Is
not
it
making that up, to be fair. No, I am. I'm not making that up.
Okay. Just keep singing my praises all the time.
Tim from Ricelip.
Tim. Fucking.
Go and watch us on YouTube, because the FIFA is on there, and there's some other bits and bobs as well that you can see on there. So yeah, this is...
Great graphics, though.
They're great graphics.
They're not. They are bang average graphics, but I don't do them. And
Can
I'm quite
we?
pleased with
All
them.
right, should we move on to something, because we've got quite a big running order?
Go on then.
Should we move on to one that I thought was quite good? Was Carlos Bacca to Marseille?
Yep.
13 million euro apparently.
Yeah. Fine. Really like him. Really like Carlos
He's
Bacca.
a great player.
Finisher.
I thought 30 million. I thought that was a great.
How old is it?
It's a great
29,
price.
30?
I'll have a little look now.
He's getting up there.
The interesting thing about Carlos Bacca is he is a pace player, though, is the problem. And obviously that's one of those things that towards the end of your career, if you are a pace player, you're going to struggle to maintain that quality. But then Marseille are an interesting football team. That fucking stadium is incredible. Their new stadium, is it the Metropole or whatever it's called? It is absolutely incredible. Built for the Euros. Have you seen it? their new stadium.
I haven't seen them.
Have a look. It is absolutely banging. Yeah, he's incredible. Really, really good. So, Marseille football.
But yeah, I thought Carlos, but I thought for that money, because it wasn't that long ago.
Now. They are playing live. It is half time in the third qualifying round.
That's where our viewers are. That's where our viewers are.
That's why. Well, in fairness, we got quite a few.
So they're winning 2-1 against Ostend, which is in Belgium. Lovely, actually. Ostend is lovely little town on the coast.
Reminds me of, remember Egil Ostenstad?
Egil Ostenstad.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, very good.
Vergard Hagen was my favourite.
Vergard Hagen.
Eric Nevland was.
You're being. I imagine this is cyberbullying. Andrew Bredding at least tried to score Luke, and he's exclaiming that. That's with one single exclamation.
I mean, I think you'll find if he's looking that the score is 5-1, and I scored 4 in the last one. So no matter what happens in the rest of the games, this has still been my most successful FIFA Ramble podcast. So
is that true?
Yeah, because I always
1
lose.
point. Is one getting a point from me as Liverpool? Is...
I am essentially the Faroe Islands in this scenario. We're happy with a point.
You are. You're exotic. No one knows where you actually are.
We are happy with a point. Okay, I will take that home. That will keep me warm in bed. My 1 point. And I have scored. It's it is 5-1. I've got.
Never thought this, but I'm actually enjoying this. Fabulous graphics. James Smalley.
Nice.
Well,
fabulous graphic. I mean, the graphics are going down better than my FIFA skills, but that is inevitable.
I think they're probably not talking about my graphics. What they're actually talking about is the graphics of the game, and I can claim none of that because I didn't write any of it. I didn't do the new engine that was created for FIFA 17. I didn't. I can't code computer games. I can't.
You haven't tried, to be fair.
I'm terrible.
You might do.
I'm fucking terrible at coding. I tell you, I really am no good at coding.
See, in your face, Bredding. Outside the box. Now it's 5-2. I am still losing, but
no,
I've got a point, and I saw the screamer.
But Andrew can claim that as a moral victory now because you tried to score like he told you.
Yeah, Andrew did spur me on. Right. If all of you people watching on Facebook could go to YouTube, that'd be great. 'Cause, I mean, we're happy you're watching anywhere, to be fair. But
because it's just us talking on.
I mean, I would love it if Chris Glasson is still watching.
He won't be watching now.
Stu Whiffen was invited as well, and he hasn't yet made an appearance.
Don't blame him.
Chris, if you are still watching, can you comment and can you tell Stu to come in as well, please?
That's essentially begging now, and that becomes embarrassing for everyone.
I said again.
Please.
It's embarrassing for me.
Oh, it's terrible.
And I've got almost no dignity.
It is like
it's embarrassing
again,
for viewers.
Tonight, I don't know what's happened here. It's the green tea.
Oh, it was a lovely brew.
It was. I've won another one.
Definitely a moral victory for Andrew. See, you fed him.
I have.
That's the problem there.
Oh,
so don't worry.
He painted you into a corner then, though. If you continue to not score, then his point stands. And if you did score, well, then he spurred you on. Andrew's the Jose Mourinho of Facebook chat.
Nice.
Or the Brendan Rodgers.
Andrew, have you got 3 envelopes and Luke Smalley's going to let you down in one of them?
Let me finish with it.
Right, actually, let's go back because we are talking about this stuff.
We are meant to be talking
about it. I don't want to touch on Gareth Bale because I find that boring. But I would like to talk about really. if Mbappe signs, I'd fucking love it if Arsenal had a go for Benzema.
Yes, right. I'm glad.
I mean, everybody would like Benzema. So Karim Benzema was the guy that Man United were going to sign every season from Lyon until he signed for Real Madrid.
We weren't anymore. He was the Gabriel Batistuta of the modern era.
He was, or the Sebastian Frey, if you're an Arsenal fan, who was going to join Arsenal every year. Definitely not Maureen. Andrew doesn't like Jose Mourinho. Who does Andrew support?
Manchester City.
Oh, the other lot. Okay.
The other lot. Do you want to... Oh, good one. Next.
Yeah, in fact, what we should do, Everton should have a few by now. This is a 1-0 loss written all over it after a quick counter. Who are Everton playing? I don't even know who they're playing tonight. Let's call it up on here.
Right, I'm glad you brought up Benzema because I meant to bring it up earlier. In that I was told this week by someone that Benzema is a decent player, but, and I quote, "Let's be honest, he's not world class."
Well, yeah.
I mean, I don't know what to say.
Just watch him. Just watch him last season.
Champions League.
That's fine.
I have no idea where to go. Really.
He's a man with clear issues in terms of the stuff that went on with Valbuena. He is clearly fallen out. Well, it's alright, I'll go a different ladies' team. Women's team.
I'm trying to think, is France on here? Yes.
Yeah, I'll go France.
Right, this next one, we were going to do England versus Portugal ladies, but they don't have Portugal on FIFA, so the inevitable quarter-final, which will be England versus France, which I imagine will be confirmed. Well, it's pretty much confirmed now, isn't it, really? But
yeah, so at the moment, this is, and we said last week, and we generally do want to talk about, when we get down and stop faffing, talk about football in the round, that we don't just want to talk about men's football, we want to talk about women's football, we want to talk about as much as we can, and the women's UEFA Euros is happening at the moment in the Netherlands, and at the moment Group D is coming to a close, and England are playing Portugal. You can actually watch it on ITV4, I think, or Channel 4, and on Eurosport, and it's on now. So if you've got everybody's second screens these days, so go and stick it on. It's 1-1 at the moment. Tony Duggan scored for England after 7 minutes, and then so I know who Tony Duggan is, but I don't know who Carolina Mendez is, who scored for Portugal. So it's half time. England have had 2 players booked, so we're going to have a little kick around doing that. Now Scotland have beaten Spain 1-0 in the other game. Caroline Weir scored 1-0 up. So that's that.
Do you want to swap?
Yeah, let's go in.
Right here.
I'm going to take this opportunity to welcome John Chichester back to the FIFA Ramble.
God,
he was
controllers.
He was. Oh, I'm going to have to lean right across now. Have we still got any tea left?
There might be some tea in there.
You're gonna have to. I'm gonna.
Nobody's watching.
I'm gonna go this way.
It's fine.
So you're gonna put your crotch on. You're gonna force your mum and everybody to see.
Yeah.
I do
apologise for that. Does anyone else want some tea?
Could you top me up a brew, please?
I'll top you up a brew.
I'm putting Duggan on because she's been booked.
Shall I top you up a brew?
There's not going to be enough for me there.
No.
You and Alexander sort yourselves out, honestly. I'm happy to be a tea martyr.
No.
What's happened there?
There's nothing. We've got a quarter of a cup each because I thought there was more.
No, there really is not. I'm not going to have to go up there now.
There is.
Is that
much?
A dram. You can drink from mine. Let's just kick the microphone. This is a level of poor professionalism that we've never seen. Oh, hang on. I do have to go back in there because Karen Carney demands to play because she is 83. And as funny as Jordan Nobbs' name is, she's nowhere near as good as Kazza. So that's that. Right, what's next? We haven't actually talked an awful lot of football.
No, we need to just talk about the football.
Just point at screens.
Right. Let's talk about the Euros then, shall we?
What, the ladies' Euros?
Yeah.
I've only seen 2 games. I haven't got anything to say.
Apparently, now Andrew's just commented, has Luke told you that we used to work with a Welsh women's international footballer? I didn't know that was true. Andrew, who did we work with that was a Welsh international
Andrew,
footballer?
stop showing off for the stream. No one's impressed.
Also, Chich, you still there?
Chich.
Chachi.
Right, let's talk the Euro. So, yeah, last night. Not last night. When was the England game? It was last week, wasn't it? Was it Friday?
Which game are you asking about?
England-Portugal.
England-Portugal's now?
No, England-Spain, sorry.
England-Spain was last week, I think.
I'm completely out of the screen.
Doesn't matter.
But yeah, so they won 2-0 even though they had the least amount, very little possession, didn't they?
Yeah.
But they still managed to get through. They did exactly what they needed to. They scored very, very quickly.
Small players, yeah. Your mum still like the graphics?
Yeah, my mum's living them.
She loves a clean user interface. There's Jane Smalley, famous for it.
But yeah, so they got through 2-0. Did what they needed to do. Now they're playing. Then last night, France beat. Now stop me if I'm wrong. France went down to 10. They had the player sent
10
off.
men. Yeah.
They had the player sent off, and they still drew. They drew 1-1 with Switzerland. And meanwhile, Austria beat Iceland 3-0 to also advance to the quarterfinals with France, which means now that France, who arguably the best women's side, they're one of.
Yep.
They're one of. They're one of the best in the tournament by far. One of the best in the world. They're a very good, competent side. They now, if England finish top of the group, which everyone will assume that they will, they'll now play France in the next round, which should be a very, very good game indeed.
That's the Arsenal Atletico Madrid thing, isn't it?
It's a very, very good game, that, which will make things extremely interesting. Because what I quite liked, I watched all of England Spain, and what I quite liked was that it was obvious early on.
Strike.
That's very good finish. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll have seen his very nice finish. Then he scored. What I liked about it was it looked. It reminded me of. I remember when Inter Milan played Barcelona when Jose Mourinho was Inter manager.
Yeah.
And they still won. Milito scored.
They did.
Scored the winner.
Yeah.
And it was that thing of, okay, they're gonna want the ball. They're gonna have the ball. Just let them have the ball.
Yeah.
And then we'll make them, pay on when they don't have the ball for brief periods.
God, that was Maicon, Lucio, Ranocchia potentially.
Zanetti.
Zanetti did play,
Zanetti
did he?
was a right back.
Zanetti played.
That was his last season, wasn't it? Or was it his penultimate, maybe? But he. That was the year they did the
No,
trial.
they all retired, didn't they? They all retired off the back of it. It was almost like England's rugby union team, where they finally won the thing that they were meant to, and then just all retired. Yeah.
That was but that it was that sort of that blueprint of if you want to.
Old and wise.
If you play against Arsenal in September or October, as well, that's also the blueprint.
Yeah.
Just give them the ball and score from throw-ins.
But yeah, it just reminded me of that. It reminded me of, well, they're going to want the ball. Let them have the ball, and then they just really made them. They really made them pay. But that very early goal was who scored the Jess. Oh no, it was Kirby, wasn't it? Who scored the first?
Yeah.
For England. She said afterwards that she still felt like she was warming up.
Frank Kirby.
Frank Kirby, who was it? Frank Kirby who was, stop me if I'm wrong, was homeless. Or are we talking about?
Names this evening have entirely escaped me. I think it might be actually. The lady with short pixie hair. That's not a great description.
I'm sure it's Frank Kirby. But then she scored very early on. Then Spain just had lots and lots and lots of possession. And then before, again, I can't think of her name now because it's going to annoy me. Oh, who scored this? Taylor. Taylor scored then as well with a lovely finish. And they went 2-0. But it was interesting last night. I didn't realise Iceland...
No, Farrah Williams was homeless, presumably, was she? No? Is that who I'm thinking of?
I don't know. I thought it was Kirby.
Maybe it was.
Can someone tell us which England ladies player was essentially homeless?
No,
please?
was actually homeless.
She's actually...
Yeah, she was homeless, yeah. She was. Google it. He can't, he's busy tweeting out links to the YouTube channel.
Oh
my days.
I'm injured. Have you got any more? Is there any more interaction that we need to?
Can we have a look at the interaction? I'm just which England ladies.
What just put Frank Kirby homeless? Have you Googled Google again?
No, I'm using the Google bar this
You're
time.
used to Google bar.
Farrah Williams. She was homeless for 6 years. 6 years. Fucking hell. I mean, that's a lot. That's a long time by any stretch, isn't it?
You're like Michael Caine then, just repeating the same line with a more and more broken voice. She was only 6 years old.
But yeah, I mean, France-England should be a phenomenal game. The main surprise for me last night when I didn't get to watch any of them actually last night, but I've seen the highlights this morning, and I saw the results last night. My biggest surprise was that Iceland, and I don't mean this in a patronising way, that Iceland had enough to actually have a female side.
No, sport is a huge part of Icelandic.
But that was the whole thing in the male Euros, wasn't it? That, you know, when England went out to Iceland and it was the big thing, they haven't got that big of a population. Da, da, da. Now I'm imagining, I don't know what the breakdown is, but I didn't think women's football would be big enough in that country.
Iceland have got a huge sports background, so they've got some of the world's leading CrossFit athletes. They've got some of their actual athletes, you know, in terms of like Olympic athletes are very, very good. Yeah.
Oh.
That's why she's playing. That's why she's playing.
1-1.
It's Farah there. She might not be able to find a home for herself for 6 years, but she found a home for the ball. It's the back of the net.
I like it. I like the link.
That was assisted, that goal, by Dr. Bernardo's. Pleased me.
I was trying to think of a way of linking this in, but there's no way that I can. Ricky Lambert's left Cardiff City.
No.
There we go.
Yeah, I literally again today someone I work with, their son came in and I was like, oh, does he like football?
That was by mutual consent,
yes,
wasn't it?
And it was who's support Cardiff, and I literally was like, right, I have nothing to talk to him about then other than Lambert's gone. That was it. Start and finish.
They by mutual consent, presumably that's because he'll have had an offer to join somewhere else where he can get signing on bonus if it's worth no money, and City would happily get him off the wages. I don't know. Ricky Lambert. Ugh.
Yeah.
Great penalty taker.
Yeah.
Yes, I thought with Ricky Lambert, I genuinely thought that when he signed for West Brom, I thought that was going to be a great move. I thought, right,
that was a couple of seasons ago.
Yeah, I know, but at the time I thought, right, that's a great move, you know, for him. Away from Liverpool, didn't really do anything there. Right sized club for him, really, if we're being honest. I thought he would do well there, but yeah, he didn't. That's it. That's all I got to say.
That's a level of analysis that you won't get from anyone other than Richard Keys. I thought you did really well there, but he didn't.
He didn't at all. I'm trying to look down the list. I'm trying to cover as many. Has anyone got anything to say about Silva leaving Sporting for West Brom?
Another good footballer, Sporting. Watched him a couple of times last season. Really quite good standout. I'm just done with transfers. I just want to talk about actual football.
We're talking about actual football.
Well, we can't because there is no football. I mean, Everton playing in the third qualifying round of the Europa League doesn't count as football.
There is no actual football to talk about properly.
Not yet, but we're building up a head of steam.
Look how exciting it's going to be. Like, I want to see players like Bernardo for Man City, and looking forward to seeing that type of player. Because no one really knows like how good a player he is.
Well,
I'm looking.
I watched him in Italy. I watched him in. Yeah. You know, I've been on him for a long while.
Sandro's the one I'm looking forward to at Everton.
Yeah.
To see how
I've seen a lot of Sandro.
I'm looking forward to seeing how he does. You know, and again, I know. Going back to like transfers, but you look at Everton and you think, right, if they do want Sigurdsson and they've got Sandro and they've got Rooney, and at what point do you go, well, maybe we've got sort of enough of that sort of player? And they were linked with someone else yesterday, and I can't remember who it was now, but there was another like attacking player that they were linked with, and I was just like, why are you? I don't get it.
Colin Kazin Richards, and it was £130 million.
It was. Bradley Wright Phillips, wasn't it?
Hey, Bradley Wright Phillips is on fire.
No, wrong way.
Right, should we have a look at the latest scores then? Fenerbahce beats Sturm Graz 2-1.
See, that's a game I'd happily watch. I really would. And I know, like, I watch a lot of fucking weird. Not as much as I used to when Skin used to catch me on a Sunday watching Brazilian third division football, and I'm not joking, like actually Brazilian third division football.
Some of these Europa League qualifying games that are on tonight, they're not actually, they're like AIK versus Braga.
Right, the names are big.
But that AIK versus Braga, I would watch that if that was on. I really would.
You clearly didn't watch Braga last season. They were not.
I would watch it.
Send me through.
Aberdeen
and Adebayo playing.
Marseille winning 2-1.
Was that a thing? Did you make that up?
No. They did. They played against each other yesterday. I think it was.
Who played against them? Sorry.
Emmanuel Adebayor and Nicholas Bentner led the line against each other yesterday in a Europa League qualifying game, which I didn't see, which is a shame because I fucking love both of those players.
Right, Everton is 0-0 at half time, but their lineup
That's why they
is
need
quite
Gylfi
interesting. Well, it's not, but it's actual football.
Right, is Tom Davies playing for him?
No.
That's disappointing.
He's not.
Mason Holgate playing for him?
Both of these are on the bench.
Okay. Talk me through the lineup then, rather than me just guess it. Sorry.
Stekelenburg.
Yep.
Martina, right back.
Okay.
Keane and Williams in the centre.
Oh, I forgot they've got enormous Keane.
And they've got Leighton Baines left.
Oh wow.
Klassen.
Yeah.
Is it Idrissa
Gay? Idrissa Gana Gay.
Yeah. Gay in the centre, Schneiderlin as well. Those three in the middle.
Oh wow.
With Calvert-Lewin, Rooney and Morales at front.
Interesting. Do that one again up front. Calvert-Lewin, Rooney and Morales.
That's the front
tell you what,
three.
that is an interesting three.
That is the front three.
I'd love to see how those three play. So Rooney presumably dropping in.
Yeah. So
Morales like buzzing around him, cutting in from the right hand side. Yeah. And Calvert-Lewin I'd love to see where he played. I really like Calvert-Lewin. Good footballer. Yeah, that'll do, Pig. Any other British clubs playing today?
Aberdeen.
Oh, were they really?
Aberdeen.
Who are they playing?
I did have it a minute ago, and I've lost it now. One job. Apollon Limassol.
Oh, okay.
They're winning 1-0, 56 minutes.
That was an excellent save.
There doesn't seem to be any other British sides playing at the moment. England are now beating Portugal 2-1.
Okay.
Scotland leading Spain 1-0. That's interesting result. Porto winning, but they're club friendlies. So now, out of all the ones which sort of the qualifying games that means that Sparta Prague are losing 2-0 to a side I cannot even attempt to pronounce. Cannot attempt.
Is it Kefin Nui Kefin whatever it is, Druids?
No, it is FK Kvena Zvezda. I'm gonna go with that.
If there are any natives
to FC Kvena Zvezda, let me know how you pronounce it.
Classic
she's already injured, man. Leave her alone. She's had that time. Right.
I didn't get the free kick there. That he blew up for full time after the advantage.
Just running through the running order, looking at things. Verratti to United with Martial going the opposite way. No, this bullshit.
No.
Swap deals don't happen, as we've said before. Right. One thing I did want to talk about. We're not doing the match. But one thing, just because I thought it was interesting. Now, we've talked about it briefly, but I saw it again today. Dybala to Barca.
Dybala to Barca.
Now, I saw it again today. We're having a swap, hang on. And it wasn't... Originally, it was said that if Neymar went... Are we doing England France again?
No. We're going to do Brighton versus Montpellier.
Nice.
I'm going to be Brighton.
Which way am I going? Home?
Yeah.
It was said that if Neymar left, then Messi had requested that they sign Dybala.
We've done this on their text.
We have done this on text. Now I do think though that there's certain players. I do think he's got.
For me, please. That doesn't really work.
I've got white or I've got.
Yeah, you got white. I'll go dark.
Okay. I just thought it was, an interesting signing from the perspective of then, let's say Neymar does go to PSG and say they do sign Alexis Sanchez. Now we're living, I don't think these things will happen, however, and then say Barca then signed Dybala.
Everyone's getting hard-ons because they saw Dybala sign a Barcelona shirt. The reality is they would sign him.
Is it somebody gave him a shirt and he signed it?
They dropped it.
Football fans are fucking idiots, honestly.
So that was the thing that happened this week.
But what I thought was just the only reason I sort of quite liked it was I just thought, well, those front threes, then.
Okay.
You would then have Messi, Suarez, and Dybala. And
which doesn't work.
On one side, and then on PSG, if they did sign the two players that they have been linked with, they would then have Alexis Sanchez, Cavani, and Neymar.
Okay.
Now that is a good front three. But
is that better?
Cavani? Right, Cavani,
Sanchez,
Alexis Sanchez, and Neymar. Now,
so the only way that would work
is the Barca one that they currently have.
No.
Is that just because of Messi?
No, because
is Cavani on par with Suarez?
No! I love Cavani. Like, people are fucking idiots. Like, Luis Suarez is absolutely incredible. Neymar is absolutely incredible. Lionel Messi is the greatest player that I've ever seen play. Yeah. Cavani is very, very good, and I'd have liked him in my 900-man squad at Arsenal.
Yeah, you have got a big squad.
He does look like Frankenstein's monster, as Arsblog points out regularly. He looks like a man that's comprised of other world-class footballers that's been made in a Uruguayan stable, which I think is wonderful. So Cavani's really good. And who are we talking about? Alexis Sanchez. Well, Alexis Sanchez left because he couldn't get in that team, so that sums that up. And he couldn't get in an inferior team, you could argue, than Messi, Sanchez, Suarez. Messi, Suarez.
Who was that? While he was there, who were the others with him at that time? I'm trying to think of that Barca squad now, because that was sort of.
Well, he was put out on the right hand side. And then shifted to the left eventually, but he played most of it on the right hand side. So he was actually going up against like Pedro, and we didn't get an awful lot of looking from Pep then. Do you know? I can't remember, but he didn't. He wasn't getting in that. He played a lot. He really did play a lot, but they let him go. They didn't fight.
No, they weren't
keep
fighting. He suffered in the same way that like a lot of others have at that side.
Yeah, of course it is. But that's how good that team is. Yeah. That you can let people if anybody didn't realise and are surprised by the trajectory of Real Madrid, like a couple of seasons ago they let Mesut Ozil go.
Yeah.
I was listening to absolute dreck, obviously from Adrian Durham, because he obviously fucking hates anything else. He hates Mesut Ozil.
Was he named after the place, or was the place named after him?
Keep an eye on their Facebook.
Which way round does it happen? Presumably Durham was named after Adrian Durham, yeah?
Durham.
It must have been. Okay. I can't imagine it was the other way around.
And what was Adrian Durham saying, Skin?
Oh, yeah, so
you were talking
you did start.
He obviously fucking hates anything to do with Arsenal.
Does he?
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
I don't even know who he is.
Don't bother.
What station are you talking, yeah? So.
It's TalkSport.
Ah, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, so he's always slagging off Arsenal for it. He's always slagging off Mesut Ozil.
Yeah.
And he doesn't comprehend the fact that how awesome Mesut Ozil is and what he produces. And he's moaning because apparently he signed a new contract, right? It's like $280,000 a week to keep him there. which everyone was saying is pretty good because he was considering like 300,000 plus a week to be there to secure him. Well, he just hates him, doesn't rate him, and thinks he's, because he knows nothing of those type of quality players, not underestimating the fact that what he can produce. It's really fucking frustrating. I had to turn it off after that.
I don't know why you turned it on.
Well, this is it.
I can't listen to talks. Right, should we explain why we're going Brighton Montpellier?
No, let's let people guess. No,
I mean there is a reason though.
Two beautiful seaside towns.
Lovely seaside towns.
Is that why we're doing
derby.
it? They are two sides that are strangely associated with blatant homosexuality as well.
Blatant.
Like raging homosexualty.
Raging and blatant are the words you're going for.
They're not pejoratives.
I didn't realise that about Montpellier.
Well,
that's new. I'm learning something.
I am big with the homosexuals in Montpellier. As Skinner will attest.
You are big with
It's the only place we've ever been together where I got more looks than Skinner. Where people were more sexually interested in me. I applied to live there. Yeah.
It's the first time the hunter became the hunted.
That's exactly. Yeah, to be fair, that was the first time I've ever been. It was like when when the Moor.
Catnip.
It's exactly it. It's like catnip. It's basically the story of how the moa or the moa became extinct in New Zealand. So the largest flightless birds to ever exist, and it lived in an area of almost zero predation, and then through British intervention, through the Zealanders, etc., and our conquering, we introduced predation, and its defence was to stand still. Which is amazing, so because nothing predated it, it was an apex predator.
Oh,
and the Moor died, and I did feel in many ways like the Moor in Montpellier, but cracking place. You can get pichets of red wine for like €3. You can get €1.
Chemise d'Artagnan.
You can buy chemise d'Artagnan, yeah.
Buy some tails.
You can buy tails like me and Skinner did. You can buy €1. Espressos as EU mandate, and you can be eyed up by rugged Montpelliers. So why are we playing it? Let's move on.
Can we just not move on for a second, because you've mentioned you're very close to my favourite animal with the moa.
Go on.
The
kakapo.
Kakapo. Which is...
But you didn't even know it before Stephen Fry banged on about it?
No, because I knew about it from Douglas Adams.
Now. Good. That's the only reason, other than knowing about it because of natural history, that you should know about it, because Douglas Adams fucking loved the kakapo.
I do. Right, the kakapo is a flightless parrot from New Zealand that has, as everything else in New Zealand, because as we said, there's no predators in the
there weren't any predators.
Yeah, there weren't at the time, because of archipelago, and it's a flightless parrot that's nocturnal, that has forgotten how to fly, like I can't think of the bloody kiwi. And things like that.
Yeah,
but it has also, unlike those birds, forgotten that it's forgotten how to fly. So it will regularly jump out of tree branches trying to flap wings, which aren't really wings, they're just stubs. And also it can swim. It has learned how to swim using its beak.
And interestingly, it remembers that it can swim.
It can't remember. But it's forgotten that it's forgotten how to fly. And
like Michael Phelps.
They are absolutely wonderful things. I love them. I think they're amazing little creatures.
And that closes the natural history section.
That's the natural history section, right?
Next.
We've gone Brighton Montpellier. I mean, it's nearly half time.
Roman architecture.
We've gone Brighton versus Montpellier.
Did you know that Attics
We're
called
back.
Attics after a place in Rome called Attica, where there was on top of the the normal house building, and I believe this is true. Look it up. Actually, they won't fucking look it up. If they do click the links to try and find, I'm going to be livid because they won't go on fucking YouTube. But so you're going to have to take this as my word. I believe that Attica was a place, and I believe it was in Rome or somewhere, where on top of the buildings and the architecture there was an additional kind of like a vaulted ceiling for airflow, etc. And that's where the word attic came from.
Nice, I like it.
Anyway, on to football.
Right. We're half time. We haven't explained why we're playing it. Montpellier Brighton. It's probably better actually because I don't know how much we can talk about this. Stéphane Sessignon has been linked to Brighton. That's literally.
Well, that stopped me in my tracks.
That is
takes a lot.
That is literally it. But as we like to do, we don't really want to just talk about the transfer rumours that everyone else is talking about. I saw it and I just thought, brilliant! It's a reason to play as Brighton, and it's Montpellier. It fit everything we needed it to. Two teams we haven't played, under the radar transfer rumour, and one that I think actually, Sessignon's taking this. I don't give a shit.
Okay.
Doobidoos.
When I think that would be a very, very good signing.
What was his output like when he was at Sunderland?
Right, at Sunderland it was very good.
And then where did he go?
Right, he was Sunderland, then he went to West Brom.
Let's do some.
Or was it the other way around? Yeah, get him on Wikipedia.
Let's do it. Stefan. He's a great baller at West Brom.
He is quick.
He is great.
Okay, how old is Stéphane Sessignon?
28.
Oh, I'm going to go older. I'm going to 31.
Yeah, going to 31. He's pretty much our age. He's 33.
Our age. That's very generous of you. I'll take that all day long. I will take that all day long.
Okay, now he's
33. I wish.
Let's go through his output. Yeah. I'll start at Paris Saint-Germain. 77 appearances. How many goals?
14.
Oh, 10.
8 in between. Sunderland. He made 87 appearances. How many goals did he score? 9.
At Sunderland?
Yeah.
He probably scored more than that.
No, 25.
17. Close. In between. Then West Bromwich. 79.
He wasn't as prolific.
7 goals.
So I'm going to go 11.
8. Again, in between. Montpellier, 27 appearances and
3
4.
2 goals.
I didn't even know he was at Montpellier.
And I didn't know he was at Montpellier.
I watched him last season. Not live.
I didn't realise he was
at
Montpellier
Montpellier
until I saw the rumour, which made me want to play this game even more. I thought it was a nice little transfer story. I thought it again, it was like it seemed as though it was someone that people had almost forgotten about because he was very good at Sunderland and he did get linked to quite a few different clubs.
How many goals did he score for Benin? 65 appearances.
I'm going to go 6.
For Benin?
Yeah.
20.
Bang on 20.
Nice. It was. I was going with. I didn't think they'd actually score that many goals.
Oh, they play against absolute dreck though as well. Remember that?
Yeah, that's true. But he seemed like someone. It was.
They play against teams that are so poor. Peter Taylor and that go manage them.
Oh, like John Gregory.
John Gregory will go out there. Peter Reid went and managed Thailand for a little while, didn't he?
Tony Cotton, he's going to be out there somewhere. Tony Cotton.
Tony Cotton! That's a name that I haven't thought about in a long while.
He'll be out there. He'll be goalkeeping coach for Benin. I guarantee it. Google
no,
that.
that'll be Chris Woods. That'll be Chris Woods.
Right, sort of random. Have you all heard the Kevin Bond story?
I don't know.
Kevin Bond.
Is Daniel Craig playing him in his next film?
He.
Long term
Daniel Craig Redknapp.
Yeah, go on.
Apparently, the reason that he's gone everywhere mainly is because he'd pick Harry Redknapp up and drive him to training.
Okay.
He drove him to training every day at Spurs. So he lives near him. So essentially,
Well, you have to, isn't it?
That's the route. That's what I was said, and I got this off. I can't remember who it was on Twitter. I think it was Luke Morth. He said, and he's a Portsmouth fan, and he said that he was told that when he went to Birmingham, that was his one thing. Can I bring Kevin Bond with me? Because otherwise, I may not be able to take the job.
Really?
Yeah, I may not be able to take it because he will. Not only is he a coach, but he lives down the road, and he can bring me to training every day.
Does he always have to buy? So he has to buy his house based on proximity to Harry Redknapp's house.
They haven't moved for ages. They haven't moved house. They still live on the south coast.
Of course, yeah.
So he's driving back and forth to Birmingham. I'm imagining he'll do a Pardew and stay in a Premier Inn or whatever.
Because what's he do? He lives on like the sand. What are they called? Sandfields or Sand Martins or Spitalfields or there's that bit down south of the development that's on the essentially the spit.
Yeah, but in that the richest.
Yeah.
One of the richest areas. You said that, didn't you?
Yeah,
it was you. But yeah, no. Apparently they still live there. But yeah, that's what I read was that he genuinely said to them, "Listen, I will come in, but you need to employ Kevin Bond because otherwise I probably won't be able to accept the job because I won't be able to get you."
Incredible.
Do you know what I mean?
Is Harry banned from driving?
He should be.
No, like was he? Because wasn't that the joke at one point where because he used to do that where Sky Sports and all those fucking morons like Soccer AM.
I got another one for that. It's crowd in a minute, but yeah, carry on.
Did they? Because he used to do his interviews out the window that then became a pastiche and all that.
How do you think Brighton's going to do in the Premiership this season?
They'll get relegated. They'll finish bottom.
No. I was going to say Huddersfield, but no. Obviously, Brighton will be bottom. Knockout. The knockout or knockout. What are we thinking? Because he had a good season, but again, there's other players who've done well the season before, and it's not necessarily translated into the Premier League. Andre Gray, even though he had
we've spoken about Andre Gray before. Andre Gray, if he was fit for the season and didn't have his linguistic issues around homosexuality.
That is the most PC way of saying that. Linguistic issues.
Yeah. If he wasn't a fucking bigot.
There you go.
Which is my actual feelings about that. But
he'll get about 10 goals this season.
I reckon he'll get 15. I reckon he'll get 15, which is big numbers for Burnley.
He's a good right. There isn't. But what I mean is that there's an outside factor. Right. Okay. Matt Ritchie.
No.
Matt Ritchie, when was the last time he played in the Championship?
Lovely finish.
Last time he played in the Championship.
290th minute, equalises, he said.
Pig
sick.
He then came up and didn't do as well in the Premier League.
Yeah, but you won't. The team would be set up completely differently. As an ex-centre forward in a different sport, but a centre forward, the way that your team sets up is absolutely paramount to the way that you play. And the most difficult thing about the Premier League, and this is just saying the most obvious, is that when you win the Championship, you're beating teams and scoring loads of goals.
Yeah.
And then what you're not doing is doing an awful lot of defending, probably.
Yeah.
What you then have to do in the Premier League is defend all fucking game, and the centre forward has to have a goal efficiency, like a shot efficiency rating of about 40%, which is unsustainable over the course of the season.
Go on.
The crowd want it. Oh! Stan Collymore.
Get it. Sickening.
Andre Gray was at Brentford at the same time as Troy Deeney.
Was he really?
And he was the better forward, I believe.
Andre Gray's a great player. It's not. I do think he's a great player. I'm trying to think of other players, but I'm only thinking this because in pre-season.
Am I over there again now?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, hang on.
Or was it me versus you?
Yeah, no, you two.
It's you and I.
I'll leave you with this thought because I'm just going to pop out and I'll be back. But the reason I was getting to it was
what for?
Okay.
Tom Ince currently. Yeah, hang on, because this is why I wanted to leave you with it because I can imagine. But Tom Ince currently is having an absolute storm of a pre-season. Absolute storm.
Where is he now?
Huddersfield.
Middle.
Of course he is. I did
Huddersfield.
know that.
But he scored in, I think, 3 pre-season games or 4. I might be wrong, but he scored 6 or 7 goals. Now,
Sonogo scored 4 in pre-season.
Andre Gray last season scored pre-season, he scored 9 goals in last year's pre-season. The season before that was Matt Ritchie. He was having an absolute scream.
Yeah.
Oh no, sorry, it was this last season as well, because he had this season at, where was he? Bournemouth, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And then he signed for Newcastle.
Yeah, he did.
Just 2 seasons ago. So you had Andre Gray, Matt Ritchie, Tom Ince. You've also got this season, I can't remember his name, plays for Palace, really, Michalovic, central midfielder. He's having an absolute scream of a pre-season. He's not so much because he's not promoted, but I mean, is that you get a lot of players who have a really good season in the Championship. They come up, they have a really good season in pre-season, and then suddenly it's just as if they drop off entirely.
Well, it's almost as if they start playing against teams of real quality and they're not that good.
And the point I was leading on to then, one, Brighton didn't really have those sort of standout players apart from Knockout.
Yeah, the collective was what that was about. Yeah,
they didn't really have. Whereas Newcastle, they did. I mean, it was yes, they were collective, but when you think Newcastle last season, you do think Gale, you do think Richard.
Yeah.
Does that mean because it was the collective for Brighton that was greater than the individual? Do you reckon that will lead to a more successful campaign than Newcastle, who were more reliant on sort of individual players playing very well? Will it be a whole city coming up? Will it be a Leicester? Will the collective unit actually? On paper, Brighton should finish bottom, but because they're a tight unit who got promoted because of being that unit, will that actually help them?
Maybe. I don't know.
Rather than, do you see what I mean? Like Newcastle, you have Gale, you have Ritchie, and they're now coming up a league. Now, that's what my whole point was, that history shows usually those players drop off.
Yeah, well,
without those players performing to the level that they did last season, that should really leave teams like that, like Newcastle in this sort of discussion, that'll leave them less of a team, if you want.
Yeah.
Whereas Brighton remain that tight unit.
That's really. I haven't seen enough of them to talk about it, but I think it's an absolutely fascinating thing, and maybe it's something that we revisit over the course of the season. When the actual football comes, we can talk about real things. That would be really interesting to get a view on.
Yeah, I just sort of read because I've read a lot of articles about Tom Ince for some reason recently, and they were saying, oh, he's done well. He, is this going to be his year? Is
he going to finally sign for Inter Milan?
Yeah, and I was sort of thinking, well, in fairness, it's irrelevant really, because I don't think I'm wrong, but he only signed this summer, didn't he? I mean, this is his first season at Huddersfield. He wasn't there last season. Was he at Derby?
Still? Yeah, was he not? He was
a journeyman.
Yeah.
He really, it's a strange thing. Did he turn down Liverpool as well, apparently, at one point? Strange. He always reminds me of Chris Eubank Jr. in terms of, not in terms of looks or anything, but just in terms of kind of coming out of that shadow of an incredibly famous dad, having it that nonsense about it all being in the blood and it.
He said recently, I think we mentioned it before, but he did say recently that he was struggling to live under his father's shadow, or in his father's shadow. Here his words: he said, I have struggled with my dad being the person that he is, or the player that he is.
Yeah, and it's one of the reasons why I won't have kids. It wouldn't be fair on them. It wouldn't be fair on them. They will never score goals in FIFA like that.
No, that was very good.
I only ever score good goals against Skinner on stream. When we play midweek off stream, they're all really shit.
I was going to leave.
No, there's biblical rain.
Lots of rain. Because we're playing.
Oh my lord, I haven't heard that in ages.
So tell you who sings it?
Go on.
Billy Myers.
Nice.
Very good.
Jay Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Again.
Worth a risk.
Fit.
Worth a risk.
For who though?
Well, he's gone to West Brom, hasn't he?
Oh, I feel so sorry for him. That fucking stadium, the Hawthorns.
He has got. I went to the Hawthorns last season.
Have you? You haven't told that story on every podcast yet.
But yeah, I think
you were in the way end, weren't you?
I was in the way end.
You the only celebration you could do was Darren Fletcher.
Football genius. But Jay Rodriguez, Good signing?
I think he will be if he's fit, yeah.
Oh, you say fit.
Don't care.
I don't care.
Does it every week. Demotes me off for that ball. The Esteban Cambiaso, Argentina.
Yeah.
Slide behind the wall
Esteban.
goal. What a footballer he was. And he's called Esteban, which is Spanish for Stephen.
Esteban. Esteban season.
Can we talk about my love for Nathan Redmond in a minute?
We can. We can talk about it now.
Just
You
what a football player.
He's another one. Again, I mean...
Direct replacement for Manny. Perfect signing.
20. 21.
Is that what he is?
Mate, he's just stopped playing for the 21 under 21s now. He's like, again in my 901 man squad at Arsenal. They're talking about replacements of Sanchez, and I'm an idiot, and I used to like Titus Bramble before he was absolutely rubbish. As I keep telling you, I know nothing about football at all. I would really like to see Nathan Redmond play in the Alexis Sanchez role for Arsenal.
He's a good
I think he will be big.
What's good about him
stuff.
as well? Yeah, well, he's... How old did you say he was? Sorry, 20?
I think he's 20. I think he's 21/22
Shall I have a
because
look?
he's just finished
we'll
playing
do a
in the
review.
under 21s.
We'll have a look. But he is an interesting... He's very fluid across that front.
He's 2 footed.
Line.
He's 2 footed, which I think is really good.
And he can play anywhere.
He will play across the front three, which is really interesting.
Oh my god, he was born in 1994.
Yep. So what? He's 23 then this year.
Nathan Redmond was born 1994.
So presumably then that's a quirk of the qualifying campaign that allowed him to play his birth date in that qualifying campaign, because you have to be under 21
he's
at the start of the qualifying campaign.
He's just turned 23. Just turned.
Okay.
March 94 he was born. But no, he is a good player. He is.
I think he'll go on and do good, really big things. I think there's something about him. If he signed for Tottenham, it wouldn't surprise me at all.
God, I hope not.
That was a rubbish ball.
If he signed for Tottenham, it would also not surprise me if suddenly we're talking another Sigurdsson type went in and then it just ruined him.
Do you think?
I think he's at the right level of a club now for his age. He's going to be playing week in, week out. He's got a lot of freedom to play. You know, they played him up front a lot of last season, especially at the start before Gabbiadini and then they moved him out wide. But he did start up front. He's at the right club. That sort of level.
Yeah, good manager
at
as well.
the moment. Yeah, good manager. I don't think you'd want. I think the next step up from Southampton, and oh my life! Right, if you're not watching on YouTube, you really should, because he just scored an absolute belter. Would you say that after Southampton, what's the next? That's a great strike.
Pleased with that.
That is very good.
Want him starting?
Cedric as well.
Cedric Suarez.
What's the next step up from Southampton?
Well, this is difficult now.
Because I don't understand. I was going to say Everton.
Yeah, Everton, but they're not. They're probably not much of a better team.
On par, aren't they?
I think I'd probably rate him. Would I pick him over Ross Barkley? Yeah, probably. Yeah, I like Nathan Redmond a lot. I'm not convinced by Ross.
No, who apparently is definitely leaving.
100% leaving.
It's not bad for pastures new, is it? If it supplies motivation. If
No,
it becomes
absolutely,
stale,
yeah, absolutely.
You know, I think it's a good thing to get out of a routine if you're not happy there.
Yeah, I absolutely, I entirely agree with that.
Like people don't understand. Like there's a thing of loyalty. There's a thing of like what's good for you, your health and your career, and if it's going to spur you on.
It's what they said about Theo Walcott. It's what they said about Jack Wilshere. It's what, again with the Arsenal tilt on. There's a load of people there that are too comfortable. Go and play somewhere else. Go and see what it's like.
Yeah.
Go
abroad.
enjoy your
fucking go
football.
abroad. Do whatever.
Exactly.
If there's options there to you, why the fuck wouldn't you do that?
Yeah.
It's bizarre. And the other thing people always forget about is like the personal nature of a transfer. It's not a case of like, oh yeah, why didn't he do this, that and the other? Like everyone's situation is completely different.
Well,
They
we
forget
covered
they're
it. We
fucking
covered it. If you remember
human.
with Bonucci, didn't we?
Yeah.
Like, why is he not gone anywhere else? Well, it turns out that he's got a not very well son, and he's not leaving Italy.
Yeah.
There might be
Yeah.
all sorts. If I was a footballer, I said this
If we got
in
shit
conversations in the
going on now,
past.
you know?
As a modern day footballer, I would sign a contract that paid me almost nothing, that allowed me to live a very, very happy existence. Not nothing, like significant sums of money for a normal human being, but that just allowed me to get out of all press and sponsorship stuff. That would be my number one aim. If I was a world class footballer, I would take like 80 grand a week rather than the 300, 500 grand that everybody else is taking, and just be like, nothing happens about me in the press. I do no interviews, I do no shitty endorsements of fucking tractors in Guatemala.
Yeah.
All of that stuff. Like, I don't want anybody knowing about my family. Like, fuck that. Ugh.
No, it's horrific, isn't it?
Must be bonkers. But yeah, you're absolutely right. There'll be personal motivations for all of this stuff.
It's like the same I think with Alexis Sanchez as well. It's like, if he's not going to be motivated mentally and psychologically, like if you're done, you're done.
Yeah.
I don't think he is necessarily, but if that's the case, it's a fucking job, isn't it? You move for your job, you move for your career.
Yeah. Yeah, says a man who's never moved for his job or his career. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I think that's you're absolutely right. Yeah, I've never moved anywhere.
Serious about your career, you fucking move, wouldn't you? Like in that
no,
situation.
Of course you
Like,
would.
if that was to come along, that's the price of it.
So I don't know whether we answered your question. I don't know where Nathan read right. Maybe this is a topic that we can discuss now. So previously, like 5 years ago, whatever, you could talk about the various, stratas of the Premier League, and a player would go from one to another. Because again, like I've said it, Tottenham feels like the next step, but
Yeah, that's sort of.
actually Arsenal would be the next step in that equivalent, with that equivalency now, because Tottenham are a better football team than Arsenal on last season's performance alone. So, yeah, I don't know. Is Everton a step up from Southampton? I mean, from Ronald Koeman's perspective, yeah, absolutely, it is. He made that step.
The people that are watching, do you think Everton is a step up from Southampton right now?
Janie Smalley, what do you think?
What do you think?
I mean, nobody cares how nice the graphics are anymore. That Janie Smalley stopped commenting.
No, the graphics are the best part.
I hope your mum doesn't think I'm being too familiar. I hate that.
She won't. She's used to it.
I don't want to be too familiar, Miss Smalley. I'm playing up for the cameras.
With I was just thinking, like years gone by, it was always seemed in my head there was a very clear structure in the Premier League, with your mid-table clubs being your Villas, your Evertons, your Blackburn Rovers at one point.
Your Blackburns,
And that's now gone, because there seems to be a case of, right, you've got the lower level, or what we can assume will be the lower level clubs this season, which would be your Brighton, Huddersfield, your Brightons, your Huddersfields,
your Newcastles,
your Burnleys,
your Swanseas, as much as it.
Swanseas, which I'm going to get onto in a minute.
As a Welshman,
yeah, that level of a club, and then the mid-table, because I think we've said it before, in that they, with the top four, it's now like a top seven, like West Ham. Where do West Ham fit now in that hierarchy in the Premier League?
Well, that's impossible to say now, because their team was different from last year.
Basically, do we have to address how it's gone? Because, and again, something that's on the running order. They've signed Javier Hernandez this season. They've signed Joe Hart on loan. Who am I missing?
Well, they've signed about 400 players, all of which are average.
They've signed a lot. But they're all, to a certain extent, Arnautovic. What they've done is they've gone out and buy a lot of players who have got Premier League experience, which is a sensible thing to do, you would imagine. But there's also a talk that they want to sign Jack Wilshere. as well as Sampdoria, who had a bid turned down, I believe, of 6 million. And is it Antalyaspor? How am I pronouncing it?
Well, Antalyaspor.
Antalyaspor. But yeah, that's just a way of shoehorning in again with Jack Wilshere chat, really. But
Jack chat.
Jack chat. Hashtag Jack chat.
Chat Wilshere.
Chat Wilshere.
That's
I
what
like
I
that.
go with.
Hashtag Chat Wilshere.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a thing of West Ham. Where are they on the?
We talk about Nathan Baker later, so we can do Chat Baker, and we can talk about good jazz. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
But yeah, where are West Ham now? Are they a mid-table club?
No.
Are they a bottom?
No.
Where are they?
Like 15th, 16th.
They're just floating above.
They're just
Because you know their record of strikers is far from.
What was it? What did we do this? Didn't they? 33 strikers.
33 strikers.
And only 22 of them had scored fewer than 3 goals, or something like that, wasn't it? Was that not what we?
Yeah, it was an outrage.
I think that's what we got to in the end.
The main reason I'm quite excited to watch West Ham this season, though, is because I do want to see the lineups when it's Hernandez and Andy Carroll. I mean, Hernandez is about 5'5", I believe. He's a very short man. Next time, I just want to see it. It's the Peter Crouch and Jermaine Defoe.
He's a very short man.
It'll be funny. It'll be funny to watch. Yeah. I ain't got much more to say about that. It'll be. I'm just not interested in West Ham.
I think it's a good signing. I think Hernandez is a very good signing.
Oh, how many goals do you reckon he'll score?
Oh no, I actually looked at.
We did this with Rashers the other day, didn't we?
I looked at his Wikipedia.
Yeah.
I
never scored less than 1,000 goals a season.
I thought he'd scored more. He felt like he scored.
Yeah, everybody
more.
thinks that he scores more.
But that
goals than he
season
has.
that United won the league with him, I thought he'd scored more. But it was something like, I think it was like 14, 15?
Yeah, Martin Prudel sent off there. Oh, hang on.
If I had to pick how much he'd score, I'm going to go conservative 8.
Yeah, there we go. What did I say? I said something like that, didn't I?
Fucking kidding me. Yeah,
I reckon about an 8.
Ash said what, 20?
Ashley said 20 goals.
But I don't think he's ever scored 20 goals in a season. So I don't think he's going to do that at West Ham. No, I would.
Is he? That's the.
Yeah, I would go 8.
I just don't see West Ham scoring that many goals. I don't get
8.
them. I don't get. Sorry, no, not specifically that many goals. What I mean is, I don't see West Ham scoring such a sum of goals that he would score lots of goals. Yeah. I just don't know how many he scores. I just don't know how many like that. Not many.
Well,
You do fancy football, isn't it? How much does he cost on there?
7 million, I believe.
Of course he knows that.
I believe it was 7 million.
He's
He's
not
up because I
gonna-
put him on my watch list. The only thing with Hernandez as well is he's
Of course.
the only thing with Hernandez as well is that he's literally a goal scorer.
He's not literally, but he's literally a human.
But yeah, if he's not scoring goal, he's not the link up man.
That's
He's
right.
not.
He's not Emil Heskey.
He's stood there and he's gonna try and get on the end of a ball from Lanzini, or a nod down from Andy Carroll. More than likely, they're gonna try and get it into Andy Carroll. He's gonna try and.
Are they
header
doing
it
the
down.
Toshak? They are. They're doing the Keegan Toshak
That's
big
what
man
I-
little man combo.
That's
yeah?
what I imagine will happen. Is that they are gonna now? There's gonna be a lot of Arnautovic, Lanzini.
I love Lazini.
Lanzini's a great player. I think he is good. But those, I think that's gonna be the aim, though, isn't it? Get the ball into Andy Carroll, who will nod it down into Hernandez's path, who will then try and tap the ball into the back of the net. That's
Where does
what-
Hernandez play in that system though? Because nobody plays with 2 up front anymore.
And are they going to pull Andy Carroll back?
What, like a 10 back?
yeah.
Like a roaming. Well, no, is the answer. I mean,
No,
maybe
no,
they are. I
literally
mean,
just, well, are they going to go Sutton Shearer? They're going to go SAS, but it would be hack.
Yeah, as a journalist, that is exactly what you are right now. Hack.
But that's where that's where I can see it happening. Is they haven't bought Hernandez.
So you in? I'm off.
You off?
I'm off. I'm
Alright, we're
going
doing a
down there.
random team.
You're doing randoms to finish now, is it?
We'll do randoms to finish. But
just your phone, just in case people are desperate. That's restart, not
Okay, alright. That's okay.
different teams.
that
Is there
should
anything?
be. There you go.
Oh yeah.
I just tweet in.
Olympiacos.
Comment on Facebook.
4-0.
Right, are we doing random country as
Random
well as random
Forza.
team?
Yeah. 4-0.
Stephen Power's watching. Who's Stephen Power?
My mate Steve.
Well, obviously he's your mate Steve. Come on.
He is 4-0. So what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Right, I just have him then. And another one, and I'll just skip right past it. I've known him since.
Hang on, there's
There you
fucking
go.
independent chat between people here that they've excluded us.
What? Explain this to me.
You've
Should we just start the
entirely
intro?
remiss.
What's happened?
There's been a whole conversation back and forth between people here that
I was
people,
playing.
people are now
When did that happen?
people are now sidelining us and having their own conversations.
Right, when did that happen? Tell me.
I don't know how this thing works. I don't have a Facebook. I don't know how this works. There's all sorts going on.
This could have happened at any point. It needs to be time stamped. Right,
There's loads of good questions that we've completely missed here. Right, with the inevitable collapse of the football transfer market, how do you see this having a knock-on effect for lower leagues, for the smaller teams in Europe? Do you think we're shaping up to have an elite European league, like suggested by Wenger a number of years ago?
That's a good question. Who asked that? Was that Darren?
Stephen Power.
Nice. That's a good one. I like that one.
So I'm going to do what I always do, take that question as an interesting point and then ignore it and talk about what I want to talk about. So there was a really interesting discussion, I thought it was interesting, discussion on Twitter the other day by people who really do know their stuff, the usual stuff, about how they genuinely believe that it will not be long until footballers and footballer agents, more importantly, and it was in relation to Kylian Mbappe, look at it and think, so I am valued at 160 million by somebody, yeah? Why am I not getting that fucking money? Why is a club getting that money? Why, if I'm worth that to somebody else, why am I not making that money? And essentially they were talking about how, and it was all very interesting language, but like akin to slavery, in as much as you are tied to somebody that you are valued significantly higher, but you don't get to see any of that stuff.
So why get paid to do a job when you can start doing a job yourself? Like,
Essentially, yeah. So why would somebody? So, and the conversation went back and forth for a little while, and it was a good discussion about that. And the point that people made is that eventually transfer and through contracts probably can't be held up if they were ever properly challenged under European law. And the conversation moved on to what we've discussed previously on the Ramble about the Bosman and all of that stuff, free transfers and the like. And they think that eventually just transfers are unsustainable. Like clubs will no longer be able to have the fees to pay for these things. Even the biggest clubs in the world won't be able to afford players shortly. Clubs will be rich enough to be able to hang on to whoever they want at the top end. And eventually somebody will just say, and Mbappe will just say, well, I want to move to earn significant sums of money, that 160 million, rather than pay that to Monaco, pay me 100 million. I will go to court, get out of that contract, and then we'll earn in silly fees. And then the conversation moved on to then talking about how it works in American football and American basketball and American sports generally. Yeah,
there's a lot. So would that then essentially then lead to them becoming independent contractors?
Potentially, yeah. So this will be, they'll be the highest paid Deliveroos in all of the world. It's the gig economy, but on the grand scale.
Well, because I know it's not football, but this is happening now in the UFC, in the especially with the Reebok deal. And anyone who doesn't know, UFC fighters, the UFC have got to deal with Reebok, so their fighters have to exclusively wear Reebok clothing. which also means that they can't have their own sponsors like they used to, which has dramatically lowered how much money they can make. But at the minute it's being challenged because they've always said that they're not under contract with the UFC, they're independent contractors. So then it's now being challenged that, well, if they're independent contractors, you can't tell them what to fucking wear.
So this is the Uber argument that recently had, where Uber wanted to have certain employment control over their employees, but then equally telling them that they're not employees.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you can't have both.
No.
American sport is a crazy thing, so they have their collective bargaining stuff, they have their salary caps, and that gets exploited. The disparity in wages within a team is really interesting. We were talking about it on message the other day, the UFC comparison is really, really interesting.
To sold for $4 billion.
Sold for $4 billion, yeah, which is absolutely crazy money. But interestingly, at exactly the same time, because there's this weird control over their fighters and their strange contracts, it isn't the only league in the world. There are, Bellator is getting bigger, and others, and I do wonder how that will work, and whether there is anything to be learned for football by that. In terms of the Super League stuff, let's answer that question. I don't know. I don't think it will for a little while, and it'll probably be because of European law or what have you. I don't know how it's going to work.
Dig it in. Being stubborn.
So, Sean Fennis.
Yeah, he's back.
He's back. Can Celtic compete for the top 10 in the English Premiership? No.
No, they couldn't. They'd get relegated.
They wouldn't.
They'd be worse than Brighton.
The quality of football.
That would be the level you're talking.
Knutson did this not long ago, and I believe he said top of League One. Not in terms of, not necessarily in terms of the starting 11, but in terms of squads, etc. Now the interesting thing would be first season, one off, absolutely not. But then what you would think is the size of the club that they are, the draw that they could have, etc. If they managed to stay up for one season and then had the financial power that the Premier League had, then quite possibly. But if you put them in the league now, no.
As they are now.
No, absolutely not. I mean, without being rude, some of their fucking players that they've got are just rubbish.
Some of them are.
Lee Griffiths, huh?
Lee Griffiths is a
Scottish Jamie Vardy.
He's
for better and worse.
Yeah, it's true. But
that's in. What a goal!
Nice.
I love a free kick on FIFA.
Yeah, it's
shit at them.
I've only scored a couple of them. I like the fact that the view stays from where you hit it as well. Yeah. It's nice. I can't imagine.
Oh, Darren Gormley thinks that an elite league will happen, but perhaps not replacing the leagues. Perhaps will be more of a pre-season comp, getting bigger and bigger. Right. Well, that's where I will agree then. So that's where the Audi Cup and all of that guff will happen. This is somebody pointed out the other day. Teams are demanding a winter transfer window and a winter break, which is fine. But then, do you know what you don't do then? You don't go travelling all around the world playing in ridiculous places like China against Premier League teams. Arsenal played Chelsea. It's fucking outrageous. Why did that happen? There's nothing football about it, and Arsene Wenger is completely against it. He would rather be in the foothills of Austria doing a proper pre-season.
Foothills.
Well, they were. I mean, that's geographically they were the foothills.
Well, it was. I can't remember. It was.
Are you Bruges, Luke?
Yeah.
Right. Bruges in.
We'll move on from that. Mourinho said the same. Mourinho said last season about.
Skinner is in Bruges.
Mourinho said last season how he didn't like the fact that they couldn't have a proper pre-season and the players were tired and da 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 da.
This
and
is
then
the same
where
man,
they've gone this.
Yeah, this is also the man who said that clubs are creating a hyperinflated transfer market. I mean, the man. Can I read you from Arseblog?
I haven't read that in ages.
Right. There is a passage today which is some of the most beautiful blogging. So Arseblog is probably the biggest Arsenal blogger out there. He's an Irish guy, Andrew Mangan. Very, very good. Very, very good.
Consistently good.
Yeah, he really is. So,
I'm glad he didn't.
did he do that today? Because I am going to...
So I've got an Uber, it's fine.
Not today, so... was it yesterday? So I'm going to read you this verbatim, so apologies. Speaking about control transfer fees though, and this did make me laugh from the BBC, and then he shows a picture of Jose Mourinho, so clubs creating out of control market. This is not so much the pot calling the kettle black as the pot releasing a concept album about how black the kettle is, then turning it into a long running stage show like Riverdance and touring the world to play in packed opera houses and concert halls before selling the rights to the show to Christopher Nolan, who then makes an interminable 3.5 hour movie about how the pot calls the kettle black, but then, plot twist, it turns out that they were both black all along. Of course, we knew that already, but at least this time we didn't have to travel through time and space and end up being behind a goddamn bookcase, you wank basket. Sorry, Interstellar still annoys the shit out of me. And I just think it's absolutely right. It's... The man is a fucking idiot. And I think he knows he's inhabiting the role, but equally, like, Jose Mourinho just needs to go away.
He does know what he's doing. He knows in that. I don't think he knows. I don't mean that in a very sort of clever way. I just mean that he knows that he's going to piss people off, and I think that's just his aim. I don't think he's trying to be clever. Some people I've seen, obviously my Twitter is going to be different to yours because I follow a lot more United sort of based. But a lot of people are like, oh look, Jose, oh he's you know, he's done well there. Blah, blah, blah. I genuinely think he's just doing it to fuck people off. I don't think he's doing it to try and be clever or smart or mind games. I do think a lot of the time he's just like, oh, this will piss fucking... And a lot of the time I do think he's just going, will this annoy Arsene Wenger as well?
Yeah, maybe.
So yeah, I think he knows what he's doing, but I don't think he knows what he's doing in the same way. I'm trying to think of someone who I do think is rather into... Beasler. You know.
What a coach.
But he's, you know, very smart. And Pochettino as well, you know.
Does the stick wash then, now that if Manchester United have a poor season this season, and poor is not winning the league, you still got to, you know, I don't believe that's the standards that they're at, but the money they've spent, etc. Does Jose's shtick still hold? Does it not just become a little bit boring and Emperor's New Clothes and all of that?
It is getting that way.
How long do you put up with Jose Mourinho without winning the league?
He's bought himself at least another season after this.
With the Europa League?
With the Europa League.
Fuck me, how far have your club fallen?
I know. Because he's got us back in the Champions League, which... Although
which
we said
for
this,
when Arsenal were getting in it and doing fuck all in it.
Because we said this in the very first, before it was called the FIFA Ramble, when we did our first live podcast, which was during the during the Europa League final.
This was meant to be the filmed psychological demise of Luke Smalley.
Yeah, which turned out to be watching Man United win the Europa League, which was nice.
Easy
as well.
Unfortunately.
But we said at the time that his aim was to get United back in the Champions League, and then you
sorry to interrupt, we've got a pair of Fennis in the chat now. We have both Wayne and Sean. I'm assuming they're siblings.
Sean is Wayne's son.
Ah. Hi everybody. You've got to win the league this year though, haven't you?
Yeah, well, this is what we said. I said at that time, I said that the aim was to get United back into the Premier League. That was in the Champions League. That was the minimum expectation. And then you were like, well, I think, you know, you said you thought the expectation was to win the league based on the money that they'd spent. And I kind of look at it and you just think, well, yeah, that's right. Because he didn't spend all that money to finish 5th and sneak in through the back door.
Look, Jose's done fantastic things last season against all that pressure.
I mean, I don't think he's a bad coach. I don't think it's time for him to leave. I do think he's bought a lot of time. This is just getting ridiculous now. I do think he's bought himself a lot of time with that victory. Winning the Europa League, also won the League Cup, which doesn't mean that much, but you can only win so many trophies in one season anyway, and he won 2 of them.
Guess what number Brown IDA is on here?
Brown's a day?
Yeah.
He's 99 or something, isn't he?
He is 99.
Yeah, I haven't looked up. I did know that. I can't remember why I knew that Brown's a day. Oh, that's because they played against Arsenal in the Champions League, didn't they? That's why. When we were in that fucking thing. Ugh.
It's going to be weird you not being in the Champions League this year.
Well, you're a season ahead of us. Like, you know what that's like. It's a weird... I don't give a fuck about the Europa League. I really don't. Like, I love it when Arsenal aren't in it, or anybody are in it, so I can enjoy it and watch Sevilla play Atletico Madrid and it be a really good... I like watching... And I keep going back to the fact that I'm the worst Arsenal fan in the world because I really like Tottenham. Watching Harry Kane and Harry Winks and everybody have a go at Tottenham, I think that's wicked. And there's a group of youngsters at Arsenal that I really, really hope get to play. But reading all the guff that I do, all the Arsenal guff, there are loads of people who I thought wouldn't care about it that really want Arsenal to win it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like really want to give it a go, and it's like I just want to see him win a fucking trophy. Like winning the FA Cup is amazing, but let's win a European Cup.
I did think that last season, and I genuinely thought about United not giving a shit about us winning the Europa League right up until the final.
Yeah, but when you're that far, isn't it? But it's like the League Cup.
But even the semi-final, I was still like, oh, do you know what? I can't be asked. And at that point, it was in our it was in our best interests.
You had to go out, I suppose, wasn't it?
At the semi-final stage, it was like, right, we ain't going to do anything in the league, so we have to win this thing. And even then, I was still like, oh, it's the Europa League, though,
Yeah.
Does anyone even give a shit? And then we got to the final, and I was like, oh, fucking hell, actually, I want to win this.
I think it'll actually be good for Arsenal.
Do you?
Because it gets the season. Everyone doesn't understand how they're always in all the competitions across the board. They come thick and fast. Like, it's 3 games a week and your most intense play that you've got. Like, their squad is always depleted. They always struggle with mass amounts of injuries. It's always like, oh, they bottled it again. No, in fact, they're playing like intense games. Like, they've done Champions League, they've done like the FA Cup as well as the fucking the Milk Cup or whatever the fuck's going on. Like, it's always a constant thing every season with Arsenal. So without that pressure off, all those it sucks because they've got such a rhythm of
that Sunday Thursday
of like when it's Champions League and it's just like the initial stages of it. It's fun to watch. It's really intense. They always survive. They always get through that because it's regimented, it's routine. They're used to it.
Yeah.
It's just back end of the season. Oh, they're falling apart. No, they're fucked. Like, the squad is absolutely depleted because they're always in all the competitions and they always used to get the kids coming through, which is amazing. But it depletes the squad so much. So I'm quite happy to see that, and maybe it'll put everything into the league.
Yeah, that's interesting.
They're always going to have a good start. They're always going to have a good start, Arsenal. And if they get a bit more stability going forward, and then they could put the eggs in the basket, I think it'll be a useful thing for them.
Chich is back.
He's on it.
Chich is back.
I'm getting overly friendly with people now. Using their nicknames.
Talking about the Europa League. Do you know one player, when I think Europa League, there's one player in particular I think of, and it's Lewis Holtby. Immediately, I just go, Lewis Holtby. Is that, I don't know why, I don't think Europa League. Lewis Holtby.
He's gone back to Hamburg, yeah?
I think so, yeah.
Did he go back? He was going to be another Eric Dyer, wasn't he? A Brit that was half-time abroad.
Well, Tottenham could have got him for nothing, couldn't they? And they decided to pay money up front to get him early.
Is that how that works?
Spurs Arsenal?
They'd had a.
You want to do Spurs Arsenal, do you? I'll have to go Tottenham because I won't play Arsenal. Is that alright with you?
Yeah.
Yeah, they signed.
I'll have
They
the
signed
number.
Hogby.
Can I have a rouge one, please? Sorry to be a pain.
You are a pin.
Oh my!
I'm a
Hang on, Jane Smalley's back. Just so you know.
Yes.
I'm going to pop out just for 2 seconds, but I will be back. Do
Oh,
you
no,
have
go with it.
such a thing as an umbrella?
Ella.
No.
Ella. No, not at all. Just
No.
flat out.
Don't have
No, I'm like a Portland Oregonian. We don't believe in umbrellas in this house.
Where's your coat?
Just by there.
Alright. Has it got a hood?
It has got a hood. I'm spoiling you. Treating you well.
Good, now he's gone. We can slag him off in front of his mum.
Slagging you well.
Oh, he's still there. That's embarrassing for everyone. Why are we playing this?
Because he was there and I thought you love for Spurs.
I do fucking love Spurs.
I bloody love Spurs.
I'm going to London this weekend.
Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm gonna go and see some of the old uni boys.
Yeah?
Hmm.
Actually doing it. Fucking hell,
I
that's
am.
awesome.
I'm leaving the Shire.
Well. Who are you going to see?
Just going to see some of the university boys. Going to see Nash and hopefully Jack, and going to see Luke and Jamie and
Fucking hell, that'll be big for you.
Maybe. Yeah. Looks like 5 goes west.
In the big smoke.
In the big
What
smoke.
to do? What's going on?
I don't know what to do. I fucking lived there for 4 years. Yeah.
It's a city. If you get grumpy, you're going to get grumpy.
It'll be alright. It'll be alright.
When are you going up? Friday?
Yeah, Friday.
Friday after work?
I reckon.
Sweet, man.
Go Mutaro after work. So yeah. Who do you think will win the league next season? That's a pointless question.
Yeah, it's something to ponder, isn't it? I, as I said before, I think the Chelsea and the Contes, I think he's got one more season in.
You Chelsea's.
You Chelsea's.
You Man City's, yeah.
You Watfords. You West Broms. You Southamptons. Yeah. But saying that, like, until you actually see the setup, you'll never know, will you? It's all pure speculation till the season.
Yeah, of course. That's what we said. Until the transfer window's closed, slammed shut, or whatever it is that they
Or
talk
the
about.
countdown. The ticking time bomb.
Yeah. Until the ghost of Jim Waller's yellow tie is gone, we won't know. I cannot play other than my standard 3-5-2. I cannot play any other formation. Like letting Luke draw against me earlier because I couldn't play.
That killed you. That
I
didn't you?
was Leipzig in a weird formation. Certainly because all is never shooting there. And he'd take the corner if he was playing. Yeah. Who we got here? I can hear my own voice. I've got a feeling that Luke's watching this on delay or watching a playback downstairs. I can hear my own voice, which is, well, a fate worse than death. We're the worst to be in a
Left
room
alone.
together alone
Yeah.
because we're just going to not say anything.
I had stuff to say then, but
You're not saying it now.
Yeah, I didn't want to ruin the moment.
The standard of FIFA this evening has been shit all round again.
Double wank and shit chips.
I scored a couple of blinders. That's
Peaky
about it.
Blinders, yeah.
You scored about 900 against Luke.
There's only 8.
Your mum wants to know whether you've done your packed lunch for work tomorrow.
I have.
Good.
I have indeed. I was just interacting.
What were you doing then?
I was liking some comments on the old Facebook.
Were you?
There is one, I'm just doing something again. I'll show you, there's a comment that Darren's made. You're liking, he's a regular now. Is he going to join your 12 disciples?
We'll see.
He says when Chelsea dropped into Europa, he wanted to win it because Spurs couldn't.
Okay.
He liked taking his missus to Prague away. It's bigger than the League Cup and another trophy, keeping up winning mentality. That said, would hate to have to start the season in it with the sheer amount of games you then have to play.
Yeah, you do have to play a lot of games. Yeah. He took the missus to Prague. It's good of him.
He went to
Prague. You went to Prague not long ago, didn't you?
Yes.
How was Prague?
Lovely.
Yeah, I like Prague. Just keep saying Prague.
Is there anything that we haven't covered in the running order? I think we've actually done quite well.
Yeah, but only because there's been a couple of subjects that you've written down that me and Skinner just gone, nah, to.
Nah.
Like, it's the least engaging running order.
Right, shall I have a look at final scores? Shall I try and drag this back into some semblance of an actual podcast?
Yeah, and then do a bit of a wind down, because by the time we finish this, we'll wind down. We've been doing this for ages again.
Let's do...
Nobody cares this much.
Right, Europa League qualification, AC Milan.
Yeah.
Ricardo Rodriguez scored. The winner, they played Universitatea Craiova.
Yeah.
Craiova. Bordeaux went to...
Was it a free kick?
I don't know at this point. Marseille won 4-2. Everton won 1-0. Leighton Baines scored in the 65th minute. Got the winner.
Okay, that'd be interesting to see if that was a free kick as well.
Penalty.
England won 2-1.
They did,
Beat
nice.
Portugal 2-1, and Scotland beat Spain 1-0.
Did they really?
So that
Scotland's the smallest team in this competition.
What was the other Scotland result when they played Portugal?
Did they not get a draw or something against them? They got hammered against England.
So that would mean if they did get a draw, that would mean Scotland are through, wouldn't it?
That is filthy defending then. Who was that? Who was that was trying back at left back?
I'm not too sure.
I don't know who you got there. That was filth.
Yeah, would that mean Scotland are through?
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I didn't think that was possible, was it?
Well, if England have won all 3 of their games, so that puts all the others on a loss. Scotland have won tonight, so that puts them on 3 points. What was the score when Scotland played Portugal? That's the result. Because that's the only way of knowing it. But they would have had to have betted on goal difference and obviously they will have because of the England-Scotland result, really, you'd imagine. But that then means that England do in fact play France in the quarter-final, which should be a very good game. I think that will be a very good game. And if Scotland are through, which I'll try and find out now, that means they play Austria.
Have we spoken about the Ox?
We haven't.
Do you know what? We haven't.
First one. It's a good game to be playing then, really. There was a link that Oxlade-Chamberlain is wanted by Chelsea.
Darren was loving that. But yeah, I rate him. He's great.
Right, Oxlade-Chamberlain. It'll be interesting to know your thoughts.
They're fairly succinct
Where
on this
do you
issue.
put him on the... Let's use it because it seems to always come back to it. The Theo Walcott spectrum.
What, the Walcosian complex,
Yes.
as we called it?
Parallax.
Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain has spent an awful lot of time trying to find a position, and unfortunately the boy has now found a position he doesn't like it and doesn't want it. According to those who know, he's been offered a good contract, a fairly lucrative contract, but one that gives him no guarantees of playing time or playing position, etc. Because Wenger famously doesn't make those. Like he refuses to lie, even for the sake of getting somebody to sign with that kind of stuff. And Oxlade-Chamberlain has found himself a position at cover right wing back. He's not going to be. I don't think he'll be the central midfield player that he wants to be.
No.
So yeah, and if it comes down to playing time and position, well, do you know, there's a club that he ain't gonna have a better chance of playing in than Arsenal, and that's the defending champions of England. Like, he's not getting in that team. Like, is he a better right back than better right back than Victor Moses? Yeah, probably. But he doesn't want to play right back. He wants to play central midfield.
Yeah.
Is he a better central midfielder than Cesc Fabregas?
Better player than Willian.
Does he want to play? Yeah, this is what I was just going to say, Willian. Does he want to play as a central midfielder?
Yeah, he wants to play as a central midfielder, apparently.
In the Cesc Fabregas sense for central
No,
midfielder?
is he
in the Willian central midfield?
Willian.
It's just not getting anywhere near that.
No, especially when you look at the other players that are there. I thought it was very odd. If we're right, Darren again wanted Walcott years ago at Chelsea, not anymore, and not bothered about missing out on Ox, but would be happy to have him. Neither will fill their potential under Wenger nowadays. But again, we talked about this earlier. I think that we need to stop using the word potential when it comes to Theo Walcott, because potential
that's
is linked to the age of a player, surely.
No, I don't agree.
I don't think you can be going on about how much potential they have when they reach
You can,
26,
because right. So let's frame
27.
it. Okay, the potential that Diego Forlan had, and he was older. He didn't fulfill himself, and he had potential. We could talk about Freddie Canute. It's the same.
But are we talking
players.
about unfulfilled potential then, rather than
No,
potential to be world class?
No, I think a player the right player in the right system. I think age generally gets talked about potential, because you talk about that's like the promise of a player, really. But I think the potential of a player is how good can a player be if he finds the right system.
Yeah, that's very true.
And I think that players can develop, the whole late bloomer stuff almost certainly isn't, in many of the cases, down to the player. It's down to finding a system that works incredibly well for themselves. Fernando Torres didn't become shit overnight. He found himself in a system that didn't work for him.
Yeah.
He then went back and found a system that, at a different time, that worked for him and worked really nicely.
I think all those players just don't get that.
Because we're playing...
I think the Wenger stuff is absolute bullshit, like from a Chelsea fan who doesn't like Arsenal and Arsene Wenger, which is fine, but I think it's probably clouded his judgment. I mean, he won't fulfil his potential under Wenger. Like, why? Like, to what? I'd love to hear why he thinks that, because Wenger hasn't proven that he can get players to play to their potential. Well, that's bullshit, because he doesn't believe that Arsene Wenger can bring through young players. Well, Rob Holding's £1.5 million. Like Nicholas Anelka, I know we're going back a few years, but I'd be interested to find out why he thinks that Ox can't fulfil his potential. And equally, I'd love to find out how much he watches him. And Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain has got a number of chances, many of which he doesn't probably deserve, because he gives the ball away an awful lot.
Well, we've talked about this as well briefly. He
offside. He's consistent in patches. And Theo Walcott, and we discussed this the other day, statistically, Theo Walcott is... Well, do you want to do the Theo Walcott?
Yeah,
find that stat and read it out.
Yeah, I'll do it now.
If you can do that
Darren
now.
Has said he's talking about like right player, right system is spot on. He said right player, spot on. Look at Moses under Conte.
Yeah. Look at James Milner. What have you?
Right, Sissoko.
No, can we do the Theo Walcott thing, because we will forget
sent
otherwise.
That to me
and I put that in Twitter. Yeah, and just without preempting it, like don't say a word. Just read out, if you could please. Just read out that stat, and then
go through,
see if we can get some
number of texts. Going back and forth.
Good boy.
Right, different one.
Who's it?
Theo scored.
On cue.
The thing I was reading the other day was suggesting that in a 2-player up front system, which doesn't exist anymore really, Theo Walcott would be devastating. He said that the change from generally in even rough approximations of 4-4-2 or 2 up front to a system whereby that's a penalty.
It's true. I've always thought I used to want Walcott at United when Rooney was in his pomp, should we say, Because I always thought Rooney as that bulky number 10.
Yeah,
when he had pace,
almost like that registrar kind of.
Yeah, him with Walcott next to him. I thought they would be lethal. Right, the stat that you are referring to. Goals and assists in the Champions League. Theo Walcott, 15 goals, 9 assists. Gareth Bale, 14 goals and 10 assists. And Bale has played 600 more minutes than Theo Walcott has.
600 more minutes for a team that have also won it twice in the last 3 years.
Yes, so Theo Walcott has scored 1 more goal but got 1 less assist than Gareth Bale, but he's played 600 less minutes.
Yeah.
Than, like you say, that also, I mean, look, how many times in the Champions League has Theo Walcott only got to say the last 16?
Yeah.
Or the quarterfinal stage.
Like every fucking time,
much,
basically.
Yeah.
And having gone out, having been humped by Bayern Munich. I just thought it was an interesting stat. So the whole thread was about how Theo Walcott is one of those weird players who is underrated by the eye compared with stats, rather than the other way around, where, you know, I dislike Theo Walcott immensely, but then I also really like stats and empirical evidence, and the statistics suggest goal impact, which is, have we spoken about goal impact before? I'm assuming we are. So it's a metric that is, it has its flaws, but it rates like literally the goal impact of every player. So a cumulative 11, a starting 11 will have a specific goal impact which is comprised of individual players, and it measures the likelihood of a goal being scored when a player is on the pitch. And Theo Walcott is rated in the top 20 Premier League players of all time. Wow. On that metric, which has been used to like quite heavily criticise the system, but in many other ways it's incredibly robust, and it does work for. I'm not going to talk about gambling because that really isn't my bag, but when you look at under the radar statistics which outperform your classic betting standards, goal impact is one of the best out there. So if you do like making free money with a bit of risk, have a look at goal impact. But yeah, Walcott statistically is well up there. So yeah,
it's an interesting one. Yeah, can we just talk about Sissoko?
Which one?
Spurs version.
The Spursion.
Oh, the Spursion.
Yeah,
I actually liked him when he was at Newcastle.
Yeah,
I thought he was fucking
yeah, the Newcastle fans didn't.
I just think it's interesting that he's there and he seems to not be linked elsewhere. You know, for the time
people want the France Sissoko.
Yes.
People will get the Newcastle Sissoko.
Steve wants to know, can I draw faces on my knees? No, I can't. And I'm
next week.
Tune in next week. Yeah, if you tune in next week, which will be, I haven't even asked this. We were going to talk about. I was going to mention this before, but next Thursday. Yeah, good.
I'm not a busy man.
Next Thursday, so same time next week. Thursday we'll be going live again. I'll draw faces on my knees.
What kind of faces? Oh. Can you draw kabuki theatre masks? One happy face and one sad face. And then, depending on either a situation in the game or a rumour, you can point to your knee.
I like it.
So you're going to draw kabuki theatre masks?
No, if someone other than people in this room or even this house said to me, right, someone needs to draw kabuki theatre masks on your knees, who do you want to? I would immediately go, well, when I go around Worms, he could draw them on my knees, because you just seem like somebody who would be able to do that.
I've got no artistic talent.
No, but I still reckon you could.
I'll give it a go.
Mainly, I think that's mainly because a lot of people that I know, I say, can you draw kabuki theatre? Right? They go, what the fuck are you talking?
I think what we could do is a little trial.
Look at how fat Pete Wenger is. Did you not
put those?
Steve, where you reckon him, mate?
Something akin to that, but shrunk down a little bit.
There you go. I mean, John Chichester's just wandered in. That's going to be interesting.
Rambled in.
There you go. I mean, I'm liking that.
Penarth Ramblers. That's not us, by the way. That's an official rambling. A fairly high-powered in the ward. What are we doing now? We petering out.
I think we peaked.
I think we peaked.
I think we've done. I think that's enough for now. We've covered everything that we need to. We didn't cover the whole fucking point of playing Watford versus Southampton was so that we could then decide who a certain player signed for.
Oh, Kieran Gibbs.
We didn't cover, Kieran Gibbs apparently, because there was West Brom as well, but again, it's just from a rumour that I read. The two teams that have pulled ahead.
I can't believe we're finishing on Kieran Gibbs. Like, this is the standard of this podcast.
And then we won't be here. I've got questions. And something else which I've sort of maybe we should say.
You teasing?
Anyway, Gibbs was apparently being linked. Watford and Southampton are the two front runners, with a view that Bertrand won't be at Southampton for much longer.
I like Ryan Bertrand.
Yeah.
I like him.
Apparently he won't be there for much longer.
Where?
Liverpool?
Yeah. I mean, does he play left back?
Yeah.
Darren is suggesting my knees. Sorry to change it again, but Costa face on one knee for happy. And then in brackets, have you seen his Instagram? We have, and we've talked about his Instagram before.
Yeah.
Always happy, always surrounded by women in the club. And then
Drinking,
Ross Barkley, all the Arsenal fan TV guys on the other knee for sadness.
I don't even know who they are. Like, this is one thing, and this isn't me being, like...
I like the
facetious.
Ross Barkley as the sad face one.
Ross Barkley is the... Yeah, Ross Barkley is the sad face.
That's what we need to do then. If you will watch again next week, what we need to do is we need to have Ross Barkley on one and Diego Costa on the other.
I think
Diego Costa will link in nicely to the fact that his agent has met with AC Milan.
Of course it is. Like, that's obvious now, thinking about it. So what are we going to do now? I'm going to spend the week trying to create stencils of...
I know, I think we should do like
of them as a Kabuki theatre mask.
Panini sticker style, and we could just draw them when we're here.
Okay. Well, you've got a bit of a creative flair to you, haven't you, that I don't have.
Don't have to find it.
You did a wonderful René Magritte style hat.
Do you want to finish? Do you want to finish on some questions that were sent in?
Yeah, do it.
Right, the ones which this was sent in via Twitter. Now
we haven't done books this week.
We haven't. We can.
Yeah, I'm going to recommend a football book, which most people probably read, but I'm going to recommend it later.
By Raj. I followed him for ages, and he followed me, but I can never pronounce his Twitter handle. I think it's Mukabala17. He said, knowing he'll probably still give his best, would you keep Sanchez this season? Another Arsenal fan. Knowing he'll probably still give his best anyway, would you keep Sanchez this season and let him go on a free next summer if that's what he wanted, or cash in if the opportunity came?
So, if
he then went on to tell me later, he said that it's a case of he doesn't believe that Sanchez would be the sort of player who would just not play.
Yeah, it's a motivation thing. Yeah, it's a motivation. It's not. No one's going to do a Payet, is it?
No, he would keep at it. He would keep at it, and he would do, keep going until the end.
How much would you take Sanj for? There we are. I'm paying.
I don't know.
Give me a figure.
Right,
Give me a figure.
It isn't a figure, the way that this works, is it? Because the money now is neither here nor there. What the consideration for me is, if you sell Alexis Sanchez with 1 year left on his contract, how much money do you bring in? And again, it's not the money. The question actually is with that money, what quality of player are you able to replace him with? And I genuinely believe Alexis Sanchez is in the top 2%, maybe even top 1% of footballers in the world in his position at the moment. And replacing him, looking at Neymar's figure or Mbappe's figure or somebody else's figure, for the 70-80 million quid, you're not replacing him.
The one thing that I did think was, I'm not saying they're on par or anything at that level, but you saw Sanchez for say 60-70 million, which would you get if you only had a year left?
Yes, but in this transfer market,
okay.
It is important.
Would you then, if Inter want 40 million for Perisic?
No, completely different style of player. Perisic is about... Interestingly, Perisic would actually work best with Olivier Giroud up front as a centre forward.
Would if Sanchez left, would it also not only leave obviously a very, very, very talented footballer leaving the club, but would it also mean that you would then have to completely change the style of play?
No, we wouldn't change the style of play because Sanchez watching Arsenal pre-season was the most frustrating thing I've ever seen. We just bought a forward. Arsenal were the thing that frustrated me the most was when Leicester City demonstrated a style of football that could tear a league apart. There was one team in that league who could out-Leicester with the squad that they already had. And Arsene Wenger chose not to do that. He still played this possession stuff.
Yeah.
They just bought Alexander Lacazette, who is an on-the-shoulder, go past people, in the box kind of players. And I watched him sit through 45 minutes of standing still in the penalty box with these passes being given in and out on the zigzag and just nullifying the player that you've just bought. So I don't think Perisic would work particularly well. I would keep Sanchez. I think it's an interesting thing just to say to people we're not selling him, we're not getting rid of him. I think it's good that we would keep him. I also think that in a year's time at 29, when people take him for granted that he will leave, I wonder whether it might be an excellent hand to play and just say, right, who is going to come in for you now at 29? Maybe PSG don't actually want you next year because they'll get one of their two. Maybe, you know what, China doesn't look that interesting after all.
Yeah.
Barcelona aren't coming back in for you. Man United probably aren't coming in for you. Chelsea aren't coming in for you. Like, the list of top clubs coming in for you at a 29-year-old to offer a 3-year, 4-year contract are probably fairly limited.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
How much do you think players impact on other players' decisions to move?
We spoke about this earlier. None.
No, not in that sense. In the sense of players who are already at a club. They're at a club, then that club is.
Are we talking about the Xavi DNA?
Pogba, Lukaku.
Yeah.
Pogba and Lukaku are friends off the pitch.
Yeah.
How much of an impact did the fact that Pogba's already there? Say it was a case between Chelsea and United.
Probably more than I would hope, because footballers continue to demonstrate themselves to be children, and that's not me being spiteful or what have you. Footballers continue to show the fact that they are fucking children. So yeah, they probably do want to play with their mates.
Yeah.
But as transfers keep showing, money talks.
Darren's commented, Aguero for Sanchez would mean Arsenal don't lose out.
Aguero for Sanchez means Arsenal don't lose out. Yeah, they do, because Arsenal finished a point behind Manchester City last season, and Manchester City were a team where Sergio Aguero didn't play an awful lot. He was injured for quite a bit, and Arsenal then still had Alexis Sanchez. If Man City had Alexis Sanchez, who I think pound for pound at the moment is better than Aguero, and I don't mean overall over the career, I mean last season was, if you'd switched around last season, Manchester City would have finished considerably more than 1 point ahead of Arsenal, and I still believe that to be the point now. And also, Sergio Aguero is an injury-prone, short player with large legs, and I know this is, a Jack Wilshere style physique, and Arsenal still haven't, even though they've got a couple of appointments in the back end fitness team. Shad Forsyth has been moved down to second. They've got this guy coming in from Aussie Rules Football who's really big. I don't trust Arsenal as a football club to keep Aguero on the pitch enough to score goals. But do I think they are comparative? Yeah, I do. I just don't think that it works as a swap that way around.
No. That's it on the question front.
Well, that's good.
Should we wrap up?
Yeah, I'm going to do just books quickly. Did you get any book recommendations from people?
Not many. Not this week.
Good.
I think they urged you last week.
Good, we put kibosh on that shit that they all put in last week. So I'm going to make a football book recommendation. This wasn't actually why we were going to do it, it just kind of came up. You may have read it. It's called The Spirit of Castel di Sangro.
Do you know what, weirdly, that was the one that was suggested.
Was that suggested?
Yeah.
Oh, good. It's fucking wicked. It's a brilliant book. It's a lovely, true tale of a really small football team. It talks about local politics. It's got intrigue and mystery and all sorts. And it's beautifully written by a journalist who kind of stumbles into this thing and picks up. And what's really lovely about it is that Carlo Cudicini appears in it.
Nice.
What a dream.
What a dream. An unnamed young Italian goalkeeper who happens to be Carlo Cudicini. So yeah, The Spirit of The Miracle of Castel di Sangro. And it's you read it in 3 sittings, like it doesn't take much. So yeah, go and have a read of that. That's my book for this week. And that's that, yeah?
I think that'll do.
So now I need to have a look at my bits and pieces. So now we're gonna ramble as we go out, because what we said we were gonna do is that I was gonna do some of that, and then we were gonna continue to
ramble.
talk for a little bit. So yeah, that's kind of that really.
Thank
We'll
you,
wave to
Facebook.
people over there. Thank you.
Thank you for everything.
We'll post some links and stuff throughout the next coming days for bits and pieces. So links to some articles that we were going to talk about that we didn't, and all that. The article I sent you the other day.
Chachi saying, Chich.
What's he saying? Oh no, that's an old one. The comments are
We're done.
from
You
that.
scroll. So that's it. That's another one wrapped.
We are done.